everyone. A big round of applause for our beautiful first officer who made that happen. I love it so much. I could play that 20 times.
I love you so much. I'm so glad you like it.
Oh my God. You know what? That could be a real Trek theme.
Thank you so much.
I don't know where you got it. Ladies and gentlemen.
It's all in the public domain. I just took up several hours to look this stuff up, and all of the images are from NASA.
Oh yeah, well, yeah, but that's in there, wonderful, beautiful. But that theme there, and you just put together something that was marvelous, beautiful. What you did in that theme, your taste is perfect. That felt like that feels like a Trek theme, and I just cannot get enough of it. I played it after, and we have to thank both of us have to thank the great Mark D with a C for helping us put that get that transferred, because we you made this a while back, and like an idiot I couldn't get it on here because they have a certain format thingy for the StreamYards.
I've never used it, so yeah.
Mark D with the C came through, the great Mark D with the C.
What a
and
sweetheart.
We thank you.
What a nice guy. I'm so happy that you helped Clobby with that, Mark D with the C. I love you so much.
Dude, is he here? Because I don't have the chat thing.
Yeah, he just walked in.
Mark D, bro, dude, we really appreciate you for doing that, buddy. And I wish I could go back and put it in all of our Saturday Night Star Treks. It's so great.
I'm so glad everyone loves it.
I just think, what are they thinking in the chat? Because I'm way behind. I'm trying to write the names down, and they are. I just really enjoy that so much. Thank you.
Oh yeah, most of the comments are just they really like it, and they're saying that the dystopian Trek could use it. Yeah, and that's what I was going for. As many of you know, I was raised in a professional band, and so I'm a classically trained musician. So for me, when I was looking for that music, I was looking for something that would remind you of Star Trek and make your hearts soar, because that's why Clobby and I are here, is because we want to celebrate the best and only Star Trek. And so
that's right.
I'm glad you like it, everyone.
Well, yeah, it's all for you, our great friends. And man, we've got some great friends joining us here. We're about to say some hellos to so many. I hope see if we got everybody here. I'm just gonna go down to the bottom and work my way back up, because this chat is crazy. I want to say welcome everyone to Clobberin Treks, Clobberin Times, issue number 122 on YouTube, 822 after all. This is pretty much the way I love to celebrate my 12 years of doing this crap on out there in the big world wide webs. Clobberin Time became Clobberin Times a year ago, but it's all the same. It's just a different place here on YouTube.
It's the same great, gigantic brained librarian curator that you have grown to love for all of these years, this great podcaster. Now we have access to him through YouTube, so it's pretty great.
Well, I've just made so many. I had a lot of cool friends before, and made some great friends before, and just have made so many more since I moved here just about a year ago, and we keep making more and more. And I'm trying to get everybody. Oh, let me turn my phone off. I know something was going on. Let's see who's texting me when I'm doing this. You know who's texting me when I'm doing this? It's Paulie.
Is it Steve? Oh, it's Paulie.
Paulie, you out there, bro? If you're hearing me, man, dude, that's cool. Send me some pictures.
I think he's doing a members drive tonight. I could be wrong though.
Really? I don't know. We did his monetization celebration stream a couple weeks back. The great Latino slant. Anyway, I'm going to say some hellos here, my friends, and I don't want to miss anyone, so I always like to write it down for later. Okay, so let's see here. Before we get going, let's do some hellos. The great Lord Thoth is here.
LD!
Yo, buddy. Avon lives, and long live the legend. Great Steve Mitchum. Yo, buddy. Steve Mitchum.
Sweetheart. Hope you had a good birthday week, and hope you had a lovely time with Maddie. We love you so much, and so happy you were born. Happy birthday, man.
Happy birthday. I hope that was a happy birthday for you, bud. And let's see here. The great Eric K.
Eric K. I love you so much. Thank you so much for helping us to produce this show. You do a wonderful job, and we appreciate you so much.
Could not do it without the great Eric K. Liger fan. Hello there. So I had a little conversation with you. I believe last night on some stream. I was in so many. I was hanging out on so many streams. Oh yeah, I was on the stream with the great Nick Weiser, our fantastic buddy.
I love
talking.
Nick.
Oh, he's a great. We love Nick. He's fantastic. 32 flavors of Nick Weiser. By the way, there's a link to his channel below. He's a fantastic friend, a regular member of the Global Geek Gang. And last night, I was on his show. We were talking about comic book art. So I tried not to dominate everything, but when it gets to that topic, I'm just I'm going crazy. And I noticed, Liger fans, you know your stuff. You know your comics, and I was impressed with that. I mean, well done, well done. Zatras is here. Zatras see and Zatras do. All right, Zatras, good to see you.
So looking forward to Babylon 5.
Oh my God, I am in the crapper. I'm bummed out that I just ran out of Babylon 5 again after binging it for like the third or fourth, whatever time it is. Yeah. Oh my goodness.
I'm bummed because I have to try and find a physical copy of Genesis 2, which we'll talk about a little bit later on in the cast.
A physical copy? I might be able to help with that if you remind me.
Okay, cool.
If you remind me there, I might be able to help you with that. Let's see here. We've got, of course, the great Phantom Outsider.
Such a great name. Such a great personality. So good to see you.
The extraordinary Felicianos, B. Raymond and Sandra.
Yay! Hi, guys.
Good to see you. Snorta Poopas Cuber. I'm saying that much better than I used to, buddy.
Snorta Poopas! Cuber.
The great Chris Persia is here.
Yes. So nice to see you, Chris.
Chris, a man there. All right, let's see here. Oh, JT Kirk, welcome, and the great new friend of ours.
So good to see you. Thank you for coming.
The one of my greatest pals in the universe, and a longtime shotgun friend on CLOBBERIN times for many years on BTR, and even here sometimes. Carrie Fisher, the great Flash.
Oh wow! Okay, so that's not showing on my side. I didn't see your name pop through on this side. It's running a bit slow tonight, but so good to see you. So good to have you. Thank you for popping in.
Good to see you, brother. As always, buddy. The great Pat S, a local down here in my neck of the woods, and a great bloke. It's good to see you, Pat.
So good to see you.
And they call him Scuba Pete. What's up, Scuba Pete?
Scuba Pete! I love you, Scuba Pete.
Oh, the lovely, wonderful Apollomies Minion and
Pupper.
And Pupper. I like when you say that. Let me see here. Let's see. Look who's here. The great, not only a great member of the Global Geek Gang, our good friend, also of the pop culture archivists.
Yep.
Ash Singh, what's up, buddy?
Yep. Sat Shri Akal. I love you, brother. It's so good to have you here. And Chris says, wow, I feel spoiled every time I come here. Thank you, Raquel. You know what, Chris Persia, you deserve to be spoiled. You are such a good friend, and you are such a wonderful part of this community. And thank you so much for supporting what we do here and for wrenching for us. And just, you know, you're just a great personality, and we enjoy your company. So it's all on you, brother.
Absolutely. Chris Persia, you've just been a great friend of this show for a long time. And dude, you know, we appreciate you, buddy. Again, of course. Hey, Ash, dude, we'll forgive you this time. He didn't do his homework. Ash, detention. I don't know, man. You're in trouble, buddy. We love you, Ash. And tomorrow, by the way, Ash and our good buddy Jed, their channel, Pop Culture Archivists. I forget the exact time. Ash could put that up there. We will be helping them celebrate. I'll be there. I don't know if you're going to be there or not, Raquel, but you know you're invited for their 100 subscriber celebration tomorrow. So.
I will be there. It is super early for me, but I will try to be there.
Oh, okay. Is it that early? Really? Whoa. Like 11
I think it's 11 Eastern.
I'm
way here on the West Coast. So what time would that be for me? That's pretty early.
I was thinking it was like 1 Eastern, but maybe not. Maybe they changed it. I think it was maybe that. We'll find out. We will find out.
You know what always messes me up? It's whenever I look at the Eastern Asian time. Like when I'm looking at those, I think it's when I'm looking for jobs and I see jobs in China and they give you the times. It's the international date line or the international time. It's hard to keep track of it. That's why I always use one of those converters.
Okay, well there you go. It makes sense. I have a converter thingy on my phone, so
yeah.
Yes. So we'll get that sussed out. We'll find out. And again, a special shout out, even though we mentioned him before, the great Mark D with a C, just a fantastic friend of the show, and he's super duper in helping out with the tech support there. I cannot thank you enough for that, brother. And I've had a chance to spend some time hanging out and talking with him, and of course he really entertained us the other day on the Global Geek Gang with his amazing collection. The dude, everyone just had a blast watching that, buddy. It was a lot of fun, man.
He's also a giant nerd. And whenever somebody displays their nerdiness to me, I always have to give them props, because Mark D with a C actually worries about in-text citation. He actually worries about vetting source. He doesn't vet lore. He vets source like I do, original source materials. So Mark D with a C is a gigantic geek, but also is a gigantic nerd.
Indeed. Oh, guess who's here?
Who?
That name we like so much.
Oh, the doctor.
Dr. Hercule Monkey. And you get the point. Oh,
it never gets old. It's so good. It's so good.
I bet Dr. Hercule Monkey gets annoyed by it. I hope not, man.
No, I don't think so.
I hope you're okay with it, brother.
Monkey. So good to see you.
He's a good buddy. I'm still working on this one. Elagabalus.
I can't see that one on this side yet. My chat is on the other side of StreamYard. The chat looks far different, and it's loading in a very delayed way tonight. So I'm missing some people. So I can't see that name, but even if it's a tongue twister, welcome. It's good to see you.
Welcome. Elagabalus is a new friend. He popped in, I think, last week or whatever, in a couple other streams, and I think I bumped into him in a couple of other streams of late. And it's good to see you, my friend. I appreciate you. Always great to make new friends here. We love it. One of my not only greatest and longest time friends, but to me, a living superhero and a living legend and a great pal, the great Ace Cast Iron, brother.
Hey, Ace is here. That's great.
Ace, what's up, bro? He is the Cast Iron one. All righty, man. Hope you're doing great, buddy. Let's see here. We're getting there, folks. We're getting there. I'm thinking, we might be caught up. Let's just make sure. But we of course, try to catch everyone who comes in whenever they show up as well. I still can't get enough of that opening. You have no idea how excited that made me. I'm just fantastic.
Glad you liked it.
That's beautiful. And so if anyone else pops in, if we missed anyone, let us know, everyone, please. Little bit of show notes before we break out of orbit. Let's see here. This Monday on CLOBBERIN Times Monday Night Mark C Comics Talk, I'm calling that one recommended reading. I will be recommending many great old comics to read, because comics are garbage now, and so I'm going to be announcing some stuff you got, some must reads, or at least stuff. Maybe I'll be reminding you some stuff you hadn't read in a while. But I'm going to talk about some great, basically just do what I like to do. I'm going to talk about some great
That's very
comics.
important. That's why I call you the great curator or the great librarian. You owning that comic book store really transforms your ability to speak to these comics. And, I know where I come from. When I went into my comic book store, the people there, they weren't so much experts as they were young people just trying to get through university and working part-time and full-time jobs at the local comic book store by the university. But you're a whole other level. And it's quite interesting because, when I would ask questions here, when I was trying to get into comics, I really couldn't get an answer to my satisfaction. But these things come off the top of your head, no problem. So, if you are like me and you do not live in the United States and you don't have one of these great and established comic book experts, curators, these comic book librarians, if you don't live in an area with one of those people like Captain Clobby, make sure that you tune into that broadcast, because he can definitely point you into a direction where you will buy beautiful comics that you'll be proud to own and that you'll really enjoy reading. The guy knows his stuff. He has impeccable taste. So make sure you put that on your calendar, or you know, punch that notification bell, and it'll come swinging back and bonk you in the face when you need to tune in.
Oh, thank you so much. That'll be 8 p.m. Central Standard Time, by the way. Again, recommended reading. So yes, I'll just yeah, and yeah, that's true though. I won't be doing any research. It's all going to be coming from shoot from the hip, but I'll try to get a lot of it mentioned and talked about without not necessarily a spoilery way, everyone, but you know what I mean. I'll give it out there, and I'll talk about some of the great stuff. James Andrew Morrison, welcome. Great to see you.
Jam. Can I start calling you Jam? James Andrew Morrison.
I'll leave that up to James.
Jam.
We'll let James decide. And then, of course, Wednesday night, I don't know what I'm doing there. It'll be some kind of open geek topic there. We'll see what happens then. And next Thursday, folks, the Global Geek Gang will have a topic. A few weeks back, a good while back, the wonderful first officer here, Raquel, came up with the idea, and I wasn't even really thinking about doing topics as much because we have a lot of fun on Thursdays afternoons, 1 p.m. Central Standard Time, talking, just kind of geeking out, messing around, you know, like we did this past week. Usually it's kind of an open, just anything goes. We had 10 people this past week. It was crazy, and it was just a lot of fun.
Yeah.
But a couple of weeks before that, thanks to her wonderful recommendation, and thanks to our good buddy Ash kind of keeping us reminded about it, keeping me reminded about it, we did a Green Lantern panel roundtable thing, which was so much fun. There was demand for a part 2, and we did a part 2.
Yeah, it was excellent.
It was so much fun, and we were joined by the great Robert Meyer Burnett, and we were proud. I was proud to have him here. And we're gonna, so once in a while we're gonna do more topics, more like and we've got this week. Been planning to do this for a long time. This is my great buddy Lord Thoth, and I hope you're gonna be able to make it, Thoth. If not, dude, I'm not doing that one without you. So if sometimes you can't make it, I will move it. But if you said to go ahead and schedule it. The Legion of Superheroes will be the topic. And I'm going to bring some great Legion fans here. Our beloved Legion of Superheroes, my favorite all-time superhero group that's not named the Fantastic Four is the Legion of Superheroes. FF are my first love, but Legion's right up there with them. I love them that much. Ace Castine, of course, my friend, is also a huge Legion fanatic. I know it's in the middle of the daytime, buddy, but you're welcome to join us.
Yeah.
And of course, because you know you're Legion, man. And our good buddy Raymond is also not only a good FF fan, he's a big Legion fan as well. So long live the Legion, Lord Thoth, brother. I'm looking forward to it, buddy.
Yeah.
And so anyway, there's our show notes. It's about time. It usually takes us this long to get started anyway. So what the hell?
Yeah, well, you know, we're not really about ranting and raving here. We don't really talk about negative stuff. This is really like a celebration of Star Trek and a celebration of our friendships. And you know, it's so funny because a lot of people just want to hurry up and get to the content or hurry up and get to the show. But I just want everybody out there to know that the whole reason why Clobby and I wanted to do this is not only to celebrate Star Trek, but to create a space that we had lost in being unable to go to the conventions, or the conventions had become so commercialized that you could not form these tight-knit conversations. So we get to things a little bit slower around here. It's sort of like just hanging out like we do at the con, or hanging out and playing pool in somebody's basement, and maybe having a lemonade or a beer and just talking Treks. So sit back and enjoy yourselves, folks, because we're going to be here for the next 2 or 3 hours talking about some really cool stuff.
And Ace Cast Iron, damn it, dude. You know, Lord Thoth, I know you get this quote, and man, look, you're gonna make me cry when I'm trying to have a light mood now, man. That quote gets me every time, but that's a Legion quote right there. The best build brother, boy, get a ram. God damn it. I miss you, Superboy. Dude, we're gonna talk about that scene, and I hope you'll be here for that, because man, I'm getting messed up just thinking about it. And I know you get that one, Thoth, but yeah, well, dude, you're killing me with that one. love you, buddy. Best big brother of boy.
Do you see what's happening in the chat? They're like, okay, so this is way better than The Children Shall Lead.
I can't wait. That's with that. Thoth, by the way, you know that stuff about me talking about top tenors? Those days are over. No, I'm just kidding. And the Children Shall Lead is the greatest episode of all time. Who were kidding there?
Ew.
I can't even make that joke as a joke. Oh, what do you? In fact, I have. What do we see? We have in store for that. Well, my dear friends, we're about to get on our. We're about to leave orbit, so buckle up, prepare for warp drive. Reviewing 4 more episodes. We were in Star Trek, the original series, the 3rd season. We are now fully in the 3rd. No more second to fall back on. So let's get it going.
Yep.
Proceed, number 1.
Well, thank you, Captain. Okay, so if you're just visiting us here through a podcast and you're not here in the live chat and you're not watching the show, Clobby just put up a tile, and the tile is actually the cover of a book called Star Trek 365, the original series. And we chose this book because it has vetted material in it. It's written by Paula M. Block, and I have just recently found out her husband, Terry J. Erdman. It looks like Arrowman online, especially when you see the sort of slightly pixelated or degraded images of it because of the font used, but it is Erdman. But the key here is that this book was christened by DC Fontana. So Block and Erdman went out of their way to make sure that they could bring us some information that was verified. And sometimes in lore, we adopt ideas and they get passed along from person to person. We call this a meme, and a lot of the time they're not accurate. So around here, where we try to explore the veracity of the lore that we have come to love and we've come to share, and we test it. We see, is it true? And we also do some infill. We talk about things that maybe aren't included in the book, and we also talk about the quality of the book's coverage. So that gets the copyright issues out of the way, and also the fact that I recommend this book. Clobby and I love to make fun of it because it is shaped very oddly. So this is a highly visual book. It contains some photographs and materials that were not previously seen in public. And on the side, it gives the little blurb, the summary, and then the behind the scenes information. So it looks like a brick. So sometimes we don't even say the page number. We say the tile number. And if you buy this book and you have it at home, you'll know why Clobby and I call it a brick or a tile, because that's what it looks like in real life. So we're going to be doing the Paradise Syndrome.
The Paradise Syndrome, ladies and gerbils.
Yeah, so this is, if you're watching on a streaming service, this is season 3, episode 3. And we're doing everything through production code. And the reason being is production code reveals many things that are going on behind the scenes. And it's also the format of these vetted books. So these official books that have been worked over and looked at by DC Fontana and other people who are in the know. That's the order they put it in. So that's the order we're doing it in.
Indeed.
So
Ron Thunderheart, welcome.
Hey, Ron Thunderheart. I am Kirok.
Kirok. Yeah. Welcome, buddy.
Okay, so the Paradise Syndrome, season 3, episode 3, prod code 58. We're actually on the 58th episode. Can you believe it, folks?
Wow.
And a couple of you have the block text at home. So if you do, would you do me a favor right now? Would you please turn to brick or tile number 273-274? Let's get started. On a serene world threatened by an approaching asteroid, Kirk, Spock, and McCoy find a settlement of what appears to be transplanted Native Americans and a mysterious obelisk that could not have been constructed by the locals. While investigating the object, Kirk inadvertently triggers a trapdoor and falls into the obelisk's interior, where he is rendered unconscious from an energy jolt from a piece of alien technology. When he awakens, Kirk remembers nothing of his former life, and the friendly natives he encounters inform him that he is the god they have been awaiting. In the meantime, unable to find Kirk, Spock and McCoy return to the ship, which quickly leaves orbit in an effort
to change the course of the asteroid before it's too late. It will not last 60 days. That's as much paradise as Kirk can be allowed. He has always known that he was not meant for paradise. For Kirk, there is no beach to walk on, no time to gather a few laurel leaves, or to stroll to the music of a lute. It actually takes an act of God, or rather an extremely advanced civilization, to grant Kirk 2 months of complete bliss on a beautiful alien world. With all memories of his identity as a captain of the Enterprise eliminated, he accepts the proffered cloak of many-colored feathers and is born again as Kirok, medicine man to a peaceful tribe of Native American transplants and husband to the beautiful Miramani. But there is always a serpent in paradise, and sometimes it is the one that lives within. Kirk cannot escape the shades of his past, barely submerged beneath haunting dreams of a lodge that moves through the sky. He cannot escape his responsibilities either. Once his ship returns, Spock restores the memories that the preservers took from Kirk. And for relinquishing those responsibilities, for daring to enjoy the sweetness of those 2 brief months, he will be punished with bittersweet memories that will linger for a lifetime. The Paradise Syndrome, originally titled The Pale Face, may have been the most expensive episode produced during Star Trek's 3rd year, with new costumes, new sets, and an oversized alien obelisk that likely would have been difficult to work into later episodes. In addition, it was the only show of the season to take the cast and crew out on location. Many of the final year's offerings were so-called bottle shows, shot primarily on a series existing sets, but Paradise was lensed in the Franklin Canyon Reservoir north of Beverly Hills in what is now the Santa Monica Mountain National Recreation Area. The reservoir has been the site of many movies and television series over the years. Its most memorable usage was as the old fishing hole in the opening credits of the Andy Griffith Show. The trip may well have been pricey, but the natural beauty of the locale meshed well with Matt Jeffries' organic designs for the tribal dwellings set along the shore of the lake. There was only one new, rather large item created for the episode that the producers would be able to recycle before the series' end. The gigantic asteroid that Spock attempts to split with the Enterprise's phasers. The big, lumpy rock would be recast as an asteroid, as the asteroid ship Yonada 7 episodes later for The World is Hollow and I Have Touched the Sky. So they reused it. And that is the end of the coverage on the Paradise Syndrome. What did you think of Block's coverage on this? And what are your impressions of this episode, Clubby?
Interesting. I did not know it was the only one or one of the few where they went outside and filmed. Of course, any mention of the Andy Griffith Show makes me happy. I love that show. And now that you mention it, I go, oh, yeah, is that the lake at the opening credits? Wow, yeah. Maybe it is. Yeah, they went down to the fishing hole.
Yeah.
Nice. This is, of course, by the way, I think everyone right now, I forgot this last week, we will refer to this era of Star Trek as the Scotty's bad hairdo era.
Yeah.
So, oh, my goodness.
Thanks, executives at the network. Thanks so much.
Oh, my goodness. You know what? There are a lot worse ones in this season than this one. There's some, at least, this is an episode where, sometimes I put down keywords, as you all know, if I have something to say about an episode, just pointing out a few things that stand out about an episode in terms of theme and things like that. There's some good character stuff in this one for sure. I think the script is, like a lot of the 3rd season, kind of, I don't know, ham-handed a bit, especially not as much some of them now, but in spots. I guess the whole idea of the preservers has always been fairly interesting to me, but other than in later Trek novels and stuff, is never fully explored on the show, as you all know. Which I thought should have been a little bit. I'm a big fan of the old, the parallel planet stuff.
Yep.
And now we're finding out, as opposed to it was never mentioned in earlier episodes. We're starting to find out that the preservers have taken people. This is what, there's an exchange where McCoy and Spock, when McCoy says, I've always wondered why there's so many humanoids all over the galaxy like that. And
Alien
Spock
abductions.
Says, so have I. Yes, basically they're seeding, seeding people. So in this case, American Indians seeded on this planet, because it's not, because as Spock says, it looks like Earth when you're on it, but as far as its shape and land, its mass and stuff, it's not that much like Earth.
Yep.
As he says in the episode. So some of that stuff I like, there's some good ideas here and there. Overall, some of your character moments between Spock and McCoy, look, it's not invalid to have something like that. We know Kirk, some of that stuff with Kirk kind of, it's not that he wants to give up the Enterprise or anything like that, but yeah, you can see as the Tahiti syndrome thing that McCoy's talking about. Yep. Kirk's human; it would affect him, something like that. Him getting this love story. I have no problem with a lot of that. I don't consider this to be a really bad episode or anything like that. I think it's, not one of the that knocks it out of the park or anything. Some of the stuff with McCoy and Spock, I think, is okay. I don't think this episode is really particularly bad. One of the curious things about this script that was a bit odd, as a comic book reader, they actually use, in fact, if you've read a comic book, they have what they call thought balloons. Mm-hmm. So they have some of the narrative of the script has Kirk thinking to himself. Some of his like voiceover of him thinking to himself reminds me of a comic book with thought balloons. That's where my stupid comic book geek mind goes.
No, that's not like stupid. That. I think that shows that you actually may be tapping into an authorial talent that you're not aware of, because you're able to see the framework, the structure, the scaffolding of the story. So I love that comment.
And whenever that happens in something, and they don't do it anymore, but in some older fiction or whatever, it always kind of catches me like a comic book thing. But overall, I certainly don't think this is an offensively bad episode or anything like this. I think it's and I can see why some people enjoy it more. So it's I wouldn't call it one of your more solid top treks either, personally, but I don't have anything really against it.
Yeah. Well, so. I totally agree with you. I do have to say, though, that it has been extraordinarily difficult not to burst out laughing at some of these insanely snarky, totally brilliant, hysterical comments being made by the chat. Just
go for
like
it.
Some of them, they just popped by like so fast. But at one point, Snortapoopus said Kirk was rendered unconscious when Opie hit him with a rock. They're like Opie instead of Obelisk. Like, come on, there is some serious wordplay going on here. I would just like to say that Snortapoopus could give TMF a run for his money. And the rest of the comments, they just go on and on and on. Our chat, there's no way we could read all these, but our chat, seriously, people, you are brilliant and funny and so wonderful to be around. You guys are so smart and funny. Anyway, that's all I have to say there.
I guess we will call this, everyone. Welcome, Project Storytime. And Robert, by the way. We'll call this the Andy Griffith episode again. Everyone will, without at the risk of getting copyright struck, we'll go. And there are lyrics to that whistling theme of the classic.
No, I didn't know that.
Oh, there are. Just take down your fishing pole. We'll go to. Never mind. But there are. I swear to God, I love that show. But anyway,
you don't have a bad voice.
Oh, I have a horrible one. I'm no doomcock. Let me tell you that. But I'll tell you that. I think that would have been better in this episode if Don Knotts had been the star, and Barney and Andy had gone down to the lake and saw Kirk and took him to Mount Pilot for a bottle of pop. And golly, Gomer could have been in that episode too.
Oh, I love your Gomer. I love your Gomer voice. It's almost perfect. Like it's nearly like at a professional level.
I love it when he goes, Shazam, Shazam, Shazam.
That's good. That is seriously good.
Oh, I love it.
As somebody who grew up on Gomer Pyle, that is seriously good.
Whiskey in the jar. I could not do that. I am no doomcock, but I love Andy Griffith though. I can whistle that. In fact, I used to aggravate a friend of mine by, you remember the old days of those old tape recorded answering machines?
Yeah, of
I
course.
would call
I
his
had
answer
one.
machine and whistle Andy Griffith for like 5 minutes just to screw his machine up. But anyway,
Oh,
that's
wow.
pathetic. I know. So yeah, this episode, in spite of the lack of cameos of Opie, nip it in the bud. One of my favorite episodes, Dr. Hercubunkry. I love it. Nip it in the bud. I can't do Don Knotts, but that guy was. By the way, Don Knotts didn't win 4 Emmys by accident. The guy was a comedic genius. I love
Yes,
that guy.
absolutely.
He was fantastic. Barn. Cam, what are you gonna do? We're just gonna review Andy Griffith tonight, folks. To hell with Thursday. What's your favorite episode? No, I'm just kidding. So this episode again, I don't know. I don't have a whole hell of a lot to say about it. I thought the preservers idea was kind of intriguing. It's a shame that they kind of got away from it, except I think in some other, I can't remember the novels right now. I don't know, maybe you can, but they did touch on it. Think of the Kirk novels, didn't they?
Yeah.
Can't remember.
Yeah,
So anyway,
is that let me just turn around and look at my library 1 second here. Hold on. Is that the Blish?
well, the Blish
Is that
books.
the Blish? Is this one a Blish book? I can't remember.
Well, the Blish, James Blish adapted all the episodes.
Yeah.
Including some from scripts when he'd never seen the episodes. So a lot of them are different. And I think Blish only wrote one non-adaptation episode, which is called Spock. The first Trek novel ever was written by, the first non-Star Trek adaptation novel episode was Spock Must Die, and that was by Blish.
Yeah, I've only got 5 of them. I didn't realize he did them all.
Yeah, he did all, the James Blish books are all, everything he did, I think, except Spock Must Die, which was the first non-adaptation, were adaptations of the episodes. And if you ever read those, some of them are weird because he hadn't seen the episodes and he worked from, I think, some early scripts and stuff.
Yeah, well, I didn't know that. And I'll be looking for these other books then, because I only have 5 of them.
I think there were a lot. Well, they did multiple in a book, and they're probably different volumes. So yeah,
I have the sexy hardcovers.
Oh, I've seen those. I bet they're pretty cool. I have the old paperbacks from the 70s or 60s.
Yeah, I got the sexy hardbacks. I should try and find the rest of them. I didn't realize he did them all, but that doesn't surprise me. That's wonderful, Clubby. I'm going to look for them now.
Yeah, Blish adapted all of the original series, and Nell and Dean Foster adapted all the animated series. So
nice.
But yes, a bold story decision to remove Kirk and give him that new life. Yeah, some of that stuff on the Enterprise between Spock and McCoy I quite liked. So,
yes.
What about you? You got some show notes on this one? Or?
I sure do. So as many of you know, I don't pre-read the block text. I save that because, I don't really have 6 hours to read the book and then watch all the episodes. And I do watch the episodes before every single Saturday night. So these are the notes that I scrawl all over a piece of paper while I'm watching the episode. So they're a bit of a mess, but let's go. Okay, so I say, yikes, the noble savage trope in literary theory. This is when we romantically idealize exotic or pre-industrialized people. This signals the human feeling that civilization corrupts humanity, and that's on full display here. Yeah. I've also got Sabrina, or Miramani, was a Playboy bunny and a real estate lawyer. She was also an easy rider. And I absolutely love her. I loved her when I was young, and I still love her. She's still alive.
Beautiful.
I think she's like 93 or 94 years old.
Really?
She's in her 90s. Yep. But I know she's still alive. I know for sure she is. And yeah, I just love her. I think that she's just beautiful.
Oh God, good Lord, yes.
Yeah, and like gorgeous even now.
Oh my.
Like, yeah. Okay. So the planet is Amerind. It is not mentioned in the episode, but that is the name of the planet. So if you play that advanced Star Trek trivia game, it's important that you know that it is Amerind and that it's not mentioned.
I put here fake sideburn alert with an exclamation point. It's very obvious that they've added sideburns to make it look as though some time has passed for Kirk instead of making him a long-haired hippie. As though the oh boy, here's a bad comment on my part. I'm such a toxic female. As though the divine intervention or comment of a serial bachelor god, a fly lands on Kirk's face during the announcement that Miramani is with child. And then I don't like to partake in profanity on this stream, but I would like to just say, because it's hysterical, that's shitty. You know, men who have had surprise pregnancies before and have had instantaneous flies land on them, they'll know what I mean by that. However, let's keep rolling along. This is another interracial relationship, and it is a triumph for all of humanity. This is a love-hate episode in the fandom. It breaks interracial taboos. I feel that that's, some say one of the best love stories in all of Star Trek. Some say it's insulting to First Nations and exemplifies the white savior complex. Kirk is the god or knowledge or power that saves the non-white people from their circumstances. I feel that is a somewhat justified modern reading. However, it ignores the equality and unity that defied racism. So it's very important to remember this is 1968. And there are First Nations in my family. And I think that it's very important to make sure that we put that socio-historical lens on this, not our modern lens, because it's very easy to look back on it and put a disparaging lens on it. But if we look back in 1968, this is Kirk in his third interracial relationship. And of course, I think it's daring and marvelous, and I love it. So that's a highlight of it. And that's all I have on my notes.
Welcome your Muslim uncle. I found him in there for a second. I thought he was there. Where are you?
I don't see him.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, well, happy Ramadan to you, sir. Good buddy, a good friend, your Muslim uncle. Great to see you, my friend. Yes. Well, again, I thought that's I think they're being a little silly. It was just a story, and it was. I mean, not one of my favorite stories or anything like that, but I think they're being a little, I don't know, a little overreacting to that episode a little bit. But I will say this: I am Kirat. No.
Yeah, well, the thing is that the modern people who have not really watched a lot of TOS, they will take their pot shots. So I think it's really important to stare that rhetoric straight in the face and dispel it, or concede to it, or to offer an alternative for it. And as I said, I think that some of that commentary is deserved when you're applying a modern lens to it. But I think that a socio-historical context lens is a much better place to go, especially because I really do love that interracial relationship, and this will be the third interracial relationship that Kirk has had. And we need to remember that at the time, the network did not want that. And so, while you're criticizing something, it's also important to give credit where credit is due. So, I think some of the criticism is fair, but I think some of the criticism is unfair, and that's my ruling on that.
Well, there you go. And so I guess basically let me get your rating.
Okay.
We'll get I'll give you mine, and then we'll ask our wonderful chat for theirs.
Okay, so I'm just going to tell the chat right now. It looks very different on our side of StreamYards, and just to make sure that you don't confuse me, or you don't confuse Clobby, or we don't lose your rating, to wait until Clobby gives you the go-ahead. He'll give you the green light to put up those grades. Also, when you put up your grade, please make sure that you leave a comment. If you leave a comment, it would be our pleasure to put it up on the marquee and read it out. And we're interested in your comments. We're interested in
in how you feel about this episode, not just those ratings. And that said, Clobby, this is a C+ for me.
Okay, I'm a C-, and it gets just because I think that it would have been maybe even. I think it at least gets that high for some interesting ideas and some good character stuff, and but I'm not like super fond of the episode or anything like that. But I also don't find it particularly terrible or anything like that. So, and I am Kira, everyone. Now, everyone, please, you wonderful friends in the chat, what did you think? How do you rate the Paradise Syndrome? The Catman, aka Dee Myers, welcome, my friend.
Oh yeah, that's right. She is 77. I'm mixing her up with another actress who was in this cycle of shows we're doing. You are right. Sandra Mae Trenton is 77. It's the other actress we're going to talk about later. Sorry about that, Mark D with the C, and thank you for correcting me. It's that we have two women that are still alive in these 4 episodes. So thanks for that. Yikes. I don't normally make errors like that. Thank you, Mark D with the C.
See if I got my if I've started at the right spot. Hopefully I'm starting at the Canadian Spider-Man who does whatever a Canadian spider can. Welcome, my friend. All right, Canadian Spidey's here. All right, let's see here. Okay, I think I'm starting at the right spot. Let me make sure. Okay, Carrie Fisher, aka The Flash. Love this episode. B+. Side note, Don Knotts was a local boy from my area. That's right, yeah. And they filmed not too far from, Well, no, he was, okay, your area. Sorry, I got it mixed up. Wonderful statue of Don Knotts here. Well, cool. I love Don Knotts. Gotcha, bro. Did we lose the first officer?
No, I'm here. I'm just, it's Joanne Linville that's 93.
Okay.
And I've mixed her up with Sharif, and she has 2 names, so it just somehow became a soup in my brain. But yeah, we'll be discussing that next.
Well, at least you didn't mix her up with Larry Linville, so that's something. And hey, I love Larry Linville, but hey, we want to mix that up.
Thanks for that catch, Mark.
Zathras C, a C. And an OK from Zathras 61. Thank you, sir. Nicole Himscuba Peach is a B. 3 out of 5 beaver pelts. I really enjoyed the beautiful location. Yes. And again, I really enjoyed the beautiful lady myself. So I hear you there. Let's see here. Let's find some. There we go. Phantom Outsider B. Underrated, historically important. Also, the mistake Spock made was not using the tractor beam to nude, or did you?
I think neutralize
nudge or nudge the asteroid.
Nudge, yeah, maybe nudge, yeah.
Yeah, it could be asteroid to a different trajectory. Yeah, well, they were using the deflector array and not tractor beams. They didn't even mention a tractor beam for some reason, which was curious, I guess. But it's a big asteroid, so you got me, my friend. Elagabalus. I'm going to get that one. Elagabalus, I really appreciate you. I'm going to get that one right. B. Corny but solid. Fair enough. The Catman Dee Myers.
Hey, Dee Myers is here.
I give this episode a B.
Oh, that's very generous.
There you go. I'll see here. Rod Thunderheart. Buddy, capital A-. Thank you.
Okay.
There you go. It's a well-regarded episode. I didn't do my homework, and so don't make me leave. Apollo Memes Minion, we would never do that. But we might give you detention.
No, we wouldn't.
We might give you detention, but no, I'm just kidding.
So that's really important because it's my understanding that Rod Thunderheart is First Nations. So I bet you he really loved that love story. He is also a romance novelist. So I love that Rod chimed in to give his approval of this episode. Thank you so much, Rod Thunderheart.
Yes, and it is an interesting science fiction concept, the whole the preservers and what they're doing and seeding planets with humanoids and stuff like that.
I think Raymond said that earlier. I've been probed.
James Andrew Morrison B. I found the concepts fascinating, the idea of losing your memory and the whole preservation of cultures. Yes.
Agreed, James.
Yeah.
James has the jam.
There you go. Steve Mitchum. This episode was thin for me. Seemed like 10 minutes of content stretched out to 50. That's a good one for a minute. So D from the great
Ooh,
Steve Mitchum.
that is a Lord Thoth rating right there.
That is. I can't wait to see thoughts. Rating 3 mere monies out of 5 for JT Kirk. Parallel worlds and ticking clock B story. Keep this one from beaming up to a higher. See, I like I know JT. I think you mentioned this before, but I'd actually like the. In this case, it wasn't really a parallel world. Remember, the preservers apparently, from what they know, took people. By the way, they never really explained how they know anything about the preservers, but okay. Took people, in this case, apparently, American Indians from Earth, and so I don't know. Well, they didn't really explain anything. That's the problem.
No.
They don't explain why, if they did take them, for example, from what would be hundreds of years before Kirk's time, why they're not, why they weren't advanced, or if they were frozen in time and then transplanted to that far-flung future. I don't know. They don't tell you.
There are lots of holes in this one. I'm seeing that people are leaving purple hearts in the chat, and that tells me that Purple Valkyrie is here, but I actually can't see her comment, and I can't even see her at all on this side of the chat because the chat is glitching on StreamYard tonight. So Purple Valkyrie, if you're out there, I can't see you, but I love you. Thank you so much for coming.
Purple, if you're here, I'm not to that far yet because I'm back. I'm looking at the ratings, but I love you, Purple. Thank you for popping in. You're the great Purple Valkyrie. He also wrote, okay, we got that one. JT Kirk, thank you for that. The great Eric K gives C because I am Kirok. Beautiful ladies. Well, yeah. And one, I love Biramani. We all do. One was an easy rider. Yeah, no, she's an easy rider. Says Raquel. I do not think it is offensive, especially at the time, to put Native Americans in a positive light. Yeah, and they weren't badly portrayed or anything. Yeah, so there you go.
Yeah, that socio-historical lens is so important, especially for that interracial relationship. So I do love that comment, Eric. And the great Lord Rod Thunderheart has spoken to his feelings about the episode as well. So your comments are welcome, Eric. Great comments.
NCC 1701B from the great Ace Cast Iron. You dirty Klingons, you've killed my bastard. Well, they were married. They were actually married, though. They did kill his wife with child, unfortunately. Very sad. See, that's the thing. We used to make that joke about Trek 3 all the time. So,
oh my God, Ace Cast Iron, I can't breathe.
You killed my bastard. A Trek 3 joke.
You're making me do my ugly laugh, and my eyes are watering. Evil and fun. Shit. I love you, Ace Cast Iron.
Oh yes. Although in this case they were married. Just saying, but still would love it.
Yeah.
Sandra Feliciano B-. There's some overacting. Yeah, Kirk had some kind of goofy faces in this one. But Kirk's leadership shows here too. He cared for those who depend on him in this society, just like he did on the Enterprise. That's very true. And even though he didn't remember who he was. Bonus points for impressive.
Right? He's got some really good swimmers there.
Oh, wow. Let's see here. Ash has not seen this one yet, so let's see here.
I think it's maybe contingent on Canadian Spider-Man, what his rating is. Let's see what he says, but let's do Snortapoopus!
Snortapoopus Cuber. I give it a B-, mostly because this episode triggered some fond cuphood memories of another tragic Kirk love. Well, there you go.
So if you're at home and you're just listening to this as a podcast and you're not participating in the live chat and you do not see the visuals, Snortapoopus Cuber is a wonderful polar bear. And so that's why he's talking about his little cubhoodness.
Did we miss yours, Thoth, or have you just not given one yet, bro? You got a rating for us, Lord Thoth?
Yeah, and where's Canadian Spider-Man's?
Canadian Spider, I don't know. I probably haven't gotten to it yet, maybe. Pat S. B. For me, this one was in very heavy
Oh,
rotation on
okay.
WGNO. I remember WGNO, yeah, UHF in New Orleans. Yep, the channel was it channel 26, wasn't it, buddy? In New Orleans. In the New Orleans, so saw it a few
Oh,
saw it a
wow.
few times on the 6 color Sony, I remember.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Phantom Outsider.
Nice.
This is the second time you've given the rating? Oh, well.
I don't know.
The historical mistake was the Delaware reference. Oh yeah, the tribe was Lenny Lenape. How do you say that? Am I saying it right? Lenape.
I don't know. I only know the Canadian
That's
tribes.
Delaware's name.
We have over
after English Delaware.
650 First Nation tribes here, like distinct nations here in Canada.
Okay, doke. Well, let's see. Canadian Spider-Man. They're talking, but I don't see any. That's cool. You don't have to rate anything. Here we go. C plus for Lord Top. Interesting story. Kirk in True Love again. Not a memorable episode with no real quotes that stick out.
True.
On you with you, Miramani. Yes, sir. Yeah, buddy. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, she's hot stuff.
Oh God, yeah. Let's see. S. Singh wrote something.
1 of 3.
Oh, A plus. Oh, I didn't know you. I thought you had not seen this one. I'm sorry. A plus was another interesting episode. A plus. Wow. with a Trek civilization evolving from an aspect of human culture or history. This was riveting. The Native Americans' garb and culture is amazing. Although technically they were transplanted from, well, we think from Earth by the preservers. We don't know though, actually, do we?
Yeah, Ash, I want you to sort of realize it in this way. They're basically saying that the preservers visited Earth, they abducted some human beings, and then seeded them in these outer planets for whatever reason. It's not explained. Perhaps for worship. Who knows? But that's how you can sort of conceptualize it.
Well, I really like the point you're making here, Ash, which is spot. Just trying to do what's right with the asteroid. Yes, he was absolutely right. He had to, he didn't have time to wait and look for Kirk. They had to go the asteroid and also bring himself to the brink of death just to figure out how to stop. Yeah, that's some good stuff. I actually did like a lot of that stuff. I'm with you there.
Yeah, the way that Ash is describing this episode is quite funny because it's pretty much how I felt about the episode when I first watched it when I was young, like really little. But it's amazing because that was my impression when I was quite young. So love these comments, Ash.
Well, Ash does the episode a lot of justice, combined with the alien monolith asteroid defense system and the seeding theory, topped off with the tragic Kirok love story that hit me right in the very young person saying, I hate when they say the feels, but I'll allow it.
Ash, like I was saying in my notes, like there are some people who actually like, or maybe I didn't put that in my notes, but I should have. This regularly makes like the top best of romantic relationships in all of Star Trek. So people name that. Like they named this episode for that reason, Ash, just so you know.
Oh, well, there you go. The great Mark D with a C, B minus, 3 out of 5 obelisks. Kirk is finally happy and starting a family. Parallel Earth story with an interesting theory about preservers seeding planets, but Kirk is destined to only be with the NCC 1701.
True.
That is very, very true. That is his destiny, of course, his density. R. Feliciano Raymond. I am Kirok. C+. My thought was, why not use antimatter to destroy it? Oh, wait, plot armor. Okay, episode. Okay, episode. Not like the preserver aspect. Okay. Oh, you do like? No, you do like.
He said,
Sorry,
no,
buddy.
that's okay.
Canadian Spider-Man. Let's see if I've caught up. Great seeing you here, Purple.
I can't see her. I really wish that StreamYards would fix their stupid chat.
Well, she's here. We love her. I can't find any more reviews and ratings, everyone. So we'll go to the next episode. Just a sec. Let me just make sure. Let's make sure we got them all now. I just won't be sure. So if I've missed anybody, just let me know.
Canadian Spider-Man just popped up for me on this side. He says, B plus, the philosophical and ethical and moral questions it raised in my youth grabbed my attention. What a great comment. Yeah, it does affect you differently when you're a kid growing up in the 70s or even a kid growing up in the 80s and you watch this episode. What a wonderful comment, Canadian Spider-Man. And that's at 2 minutes past the hour, Clubby.
Okay, well, I'm not quite there yet. Then I'm still way behind, just making sure.
No, that's okay. My chat on this side's bouncing all over the place and even leaving people out. So I just wanted to make sure you saw that one.
And he also added, Arian also added, take a group and transplant on a planet with an asteroid coming to a great plan. Yeah, there you go. I got you, man. I'm just making sure. Almost there, everyone. Just didn't want to miss anybody. Okay, Spider-Man did right there. We go. Okay, thank you, buddy. I did rate it B plus. Philosophical. There you go. Thank you.
And Chris has a wonderful comment directly after that. Well, it might not be directly after that for you because people are missing on my side.
Raquel, I think they touched on the explanation of the Native American seeding on another worlds in a Voyager episode when Chakotay found the markings of them in the Delta Quadrant.
I remember that episode.
I remember that one. Was that a preserver type reference?
I'm not sure if it was a preserver, but it's a great point to raise because, you know, we did have Native Americans, you know, out there and seated on planets. So when we get to that, we'll definitely have to take a microscope to that, Chris. You know, I'm not going to lie. I'm not an expert on Voyager. It's just, you know, I know Voyager, but not to the extent that the younger viewers do. So perhaps if my daughter were here, she would be able to tell you immediately. But I promise we will put a lens on that when we get to it. And what a great comment. Thank you, Chris.
So, so your youngster is a Voyager fan then?
Just all around Star Trek fan. I think as she's gotten older, I actually think that she starts to back up into Star Trek more. So when she was quite little, it was all TNG, and then when probably through the teenage years, more of the Voyager, and now solid TOS. So yeah, so it's just red. I think she's not unlike other people. Different points of Star Trek resonate with the younger generation in different ways, due to their ability to watch it in a non-linear order. So I mean, they can get addicted to something just by flicking on the boob tube, and it's in high rotation, so they can become a big fan of it and then just discover the entire IP, right? So I don't know, but maybe Esh could speak to that. But I wonder what fished Esh out of the water. What baited you into the IP, Esh Singh? Did you see something in passing on TV? And if so, which version of Star Trek first attracted you to the IP? I would be interested to know.
I already know, but he'll tell us. Anyway, well, I guess we could get moving to the next one. What do you think? You ready to move on to our next episode?
Heck yes. It's the Enterprise incident.
The Enterprise incident is next, ladies and germs. I'm getting that ready. Well, you may proceed.
Yeah. So that's season 3, episode 2, if you're on your streaming service. And we're doing prod code 59. All right. And in the block text, we are on brick or tile 276, 277. Let's get to it.
Let's get to it.
After an erratic Kirk takes the Enterprise into Romulan territory without authorization from Starfleet, the starship is immediately surrounded by Romulan vessels that demand the surrender of the captain and his crew. Kirk and Spock beam over to the Romulan flagship to meet with its female commander, but Spock refuses to confirm the captain's explanation that his trespassing was the result of an equipment malfunction. Instead, the Vulcan declares that Kirk is clearly suffering from diminished mental stability and that he acted under his own volition. McCoy is summoned to the Romulan vessel to assess Kirk's condition, but the captain, infuriated at Spock's betrayal, attacks his first officer. Spock responds instinctively, defending himself using the Vulcan death grip and killing Captain Kirk. Gene Roddenberry often stated that he disapproved of the Enterprise crew sneaking around on espionage or spying missions. But that is exactly the type of mission Kirk and Spock undertake in the Enterprise incident. An episode that seems based, at least in part, on the 1968 capture of the USS Pueblo in North Korean waters. Fans rate the episode among the best of the season, although they, too, seem a bit squeamish about Kirk and Spock's actions. At one point, Uhura tells Scotty that there was no order from Starfleet authorizing the Enterprise's crossing of the Romulan neutral zone. But later, McCoy tells Nurse Chapel Jim and Spock were operating under Federation orders. So just who was it who sent them on this quest of theft and deception? Decades later, the series Star Trek Deep Space Nine tackled a similar subject, revealing that within Starfleet intelligence, there is a covert Black Ops unit known as Section 31. Think CIA, but with fewer constraints from the head of state. Section 31, which has been around as long as Starfleet, is responsible for identifying and dealing with perceived threats to the Federation in whatever way its operatives deem necessary. Stealing a piece of potentially dangerous technology from a perceived enemy might just be right up this unit's alley. In fact, just to take it full circle, although it isn't canon, Section 31 Cloak, a licensed Star Trek spin-off novel, establishes that James T. Kirk had received orders from that very agency. By the start of the third season, regular viewers of Star Trek came to expect seduction scenes between Kirk and the lovely lady of the week. But at the same token, they did not expect such scenes with Spock. Yes, the Spock, who had been shown to be emotionally romantic in This Side of Paradise after drugged. Near the end of the final season, he would also experience passionate feelings towards Zarabeth, all our yesterdays, but only because he had been transported 5,000 years into the past, where his ancestors were still uncivilized, warlike barbarians. So it came as quite a surprise when the obviously interested female Romulan commander slipped into something more comfortable, and the typically imperturbable Vulcan slipped into serious seduction mode. Or did he? Writer D.C. Fontana has stated that the romantic tete-a-tete she put a little French in here, tete-a-tete in the Enterprise incident was modified after she turned in her draft of the script. And that, while she liked this episode, she felt it was out of character for Spock to pretend to be romantic. While Fontana is correct, it doesn't seem ethically appropriate for the upright Mr. Spock. It's interesting to consider that the commander actually may have gotten under Spock's skin. She is certainly worthy of his respect. She commands a large starship, something Spock admits to her that he has yet to achieve. While fans may yet object that male Vulcans respond romantically to females only during Pon farr, even D.C. Fontana admits that this is too literal an interpretation of the facts established in Amok time. It's true that Pon farr is a time for reproduction, but that does not discount a Vulcan male's ability to indulge in sexual interplay when such an opportunity seems logical. Despite what Spock and McCoy say about one another, the two men have absolute faith in each other's intelligence and underlying motivations, which is perhaps the reason Spock knew that McCoy would understand his subterfuge in killing Kirk in front of the Romulan commander and her guards. Up to that point, McCoy had no knowledge of Kirk and Spock's orders to steal the cloaking device. Yet when Spock states, "I was unprepared for his attack. I instinctively used the Vulcan death grip," McCoy has the presence of mind to respond in kind, "Your instincts are still good, Mr. Spock. The captain is dead." The message has been delivered and received, allowing McCoy to carry on the charade and a spirit Kirk off the Romulan ship. It isn't until the next scene that audiences catch up with McCoy, realizing what the good doctor grasped a few minutes earlier. A, Spock is never unprepared, and B, he never blindly gives in to his instinct, particularly violent instinct. Of course, it probably didn't hurt that McCoy, like Chapel, also knew that there is no such thing as a Vulcan death grip. And that completes the block coverage on the Enterprise incident. What did you think of this coverage, everyone? And Clobby, what do you think of this episode? What do you have to say?
I like this episode. I think this is a fairly straightforward but fairly solid, entertaining episode in Enterprise Incident. I've always been well disposed toward it personally. It's got some good character stuff. The espionage thing like that, I have no problem with any of that kind of stuff. For the realism of, unfortunately, there's some bad people out there. The thing is, the human race is advanced, sure, in Roddenberry's vision, but they still deal with a lot of bad things, and they still have to protect themselves and things like that. So I have no problem with any of that kind of stuff, even though it sounds like Roddenberry may have, which is interesting. I wonder if he was all that involved when, was it Picard had to train for a secret mission against the Cardassians at one point. Even so when I do believe Roddenberry was still working on the show, but I don't know. So yeah, I have no problem with any of that. I think it's fairly solid entertainment, especially for third season. I like it. I like the character of the Romulan commander. Something that may not have everyone knows. I think it was Star Trek Continues did a sequel to this episode, quote unquote sequel, where this I forget the lady's name. This lovely lady's name. Her daughter played the character.
It's Joanne Linville, and
Okay,
I mixed her up with the last actress because I have so much to say about her tonight, and she is 93 years old. So.
Oh wow! Okay, well, that's a long time ago, and but her daughter was. I mean, apparently, I don't know if you saw that Star Trek Continues. I saw it, and she's very, looks a lot like her, and played her.
She's beautiful.
Yeah, beautiful, and
I think I have her on my Pinterest. I think I may have her pinned on my Pinterest for my cosplay. I think I have her and her daughter pinned.
Gotcha. Well, this is some of the things about this episode: characters and drama, excitement, and just again, just an entertaining episode. I do love some moments, of course. Kirk's going a little over the top with the crazy act, which is kind of fun for me. It's kind of fun watching Spock. How do you say it? Because you touched on it a little bit. Logically, he's trying to seduce a woman, and yet acting like Spock. We've seen Kirk, go all silver tongue devil.
This is going to sound bizarro world, but that's actually how I like men to come on to me. That is the ultimate courting ritual for me. It was his behavior herein, and that probably says more about me than it does about the character. But I like it. It works for me. But that's just the way my brain works. You know what I mean? I can't really go for the sloppy drunk guy or the sloppy vulgar person or the person who's ill-mannered. I really do like brain.
Well, we've seen Kirk do it in a pretty smooth way. Sure, he's not like Spock does it, but like whether it's Conscience of the King or how many other times when he's talking to a lady, he has got that big ear to ear grin, and he's definitely being complimentary and romantic. And Spock's just being Spock.
Yes,
and he is quite logically. So being he's doing, I guess, the way a Vulcan would do. And it's great.
It makes sense. Do you know what I mean?
Yes,
it works.
Cool.
It works if you like guys like that. And for me, it's get your motor running.
I mean, and that's really good stuff. Chuck Marble, a new someone I've not seen before. Welcome, Chuck, and welcome, Toxic
Hey,
Manflu.
Chuck's here. It's so nice to see you, Chuck.
I don't know Chuck, but welcome, Chuck, and Miss
Chuck,
TMF.
meet Clobby. Clobby, this is Chuck. Chuck Marble is such a wonderful human being. He's so smart and funny, and it is so great to have you be a part of this community and join us this evening. I hope this won't be the only time, Chuck. Mwah, mwah.
Absolutely.
So good to see you.
Welcome, Chuck, and welcome to the great Toxic Manflu.
Hey, TMF, baby. Mwah, mwah.
Absolutely, and so yeah, I really, I like this one. This is one of my, at least for this season, the top notch. It's fairly well done. It's got a lot of good character stuff, a lot of good stuff. Again, the Spock, Romulan Commander bits I think are really good, and then you get a really lovely piece of humor with. First of all, you get some good scenes with Scotty, and always even in the Scotty bad hairdo era, as I call this era of Star Trek now. At least
that was forced on him, though, right?
No, I know, but I'm just still like goofing on it.
Peeves me off so much that they forced him on that, because they talked to him about it when he first joined the series, and then he obeyed. But then he started combing his hair normal, so he looked attractive and was handsome. And then they actually gave him a talking to. So, like at season 3, they're like, "Look at." Now you're going to do things our way. And that's not lore. That's actually confirmed, folks at home. So they actually gave him a talking to and said, this is how you're going to do your hair from now on. And we want more, hey, we're the monkeys. So these guys are just jerks because, yeah.
It was terrible, but still great scenes with Scotty. No, like I said, you remember you explained that last week as well. And I just, just like to call it that, just a goof on hair. It's certainly not a goof on Scotty. And this scene is just classic when, of course, they think Kirk is dead, and he's called down to sick bay. He's annoyed. Duhan is just fantastic in this scene. That look on his face. Oh, yes. We all love Jimmy Duhan. I mean, Captain. Yes. Captain Kirk.
Hey, that's pretty good, Clobby.
Well, you look like the devil himself, but as long as you're alive, what's it all about? Oh God, I'm just, it gets me every time. I love that scene.
Clobby, that was actually pretty darn good.
Oh, I can't even tell.
Chuck Marble says, in a pig's eye.
Wrong episode, buddy. No, we know you know that though. If he knew that, we know he knows the episode. So, yes, and again, Kirk, skulking around about on the Romulan ship. There's some cool scenes with that. Overall, this is an entertaining episode. I would call it one of those ones. Some of the ones where, again, we do. Anyone who's been with us for any length of time here, especially when we're in the first or second season, some of the key words I put in some episodes, like when I'm talking about great things like Devil in the Dark, I put ideas, concepts, some other episodes, characters. I do that a lot. I do different things. This one, I say characters and just drama. And yes, a little fun. And Draco Argentus, welcome. It's good to see you. And so, yeah, I think this is a solid, entertaining episode.
I think so, too.
So I'm sure you've got some notes for us.
I do. So, my haphazard notes that I make while I'm watching. So hopefully I can stay on track and this makes some sense for you folks. Scotty's executive forced hairdo. Poor guy, with an exclamation point. And then I put an incredible message for the women, especially ethnic women of 1968. Women are cerebral and sexy at 40 years old. They rise to the highest echelons of military command. This is barrier-breaking female starship commander in 1968. So, as a comms scholar, I have to say that it is so refreshing to continually see this in Star Trek, where women, sexy women, they can be in their 20s, they can be in their 30s, and they can also be in their 40s. And here, not only do we have a woman, but a woman who represents an ethnicity in 1968 who is cerebral, she's hot, she's gorgeous. It does not diminish her femininity, and she rises to the highest rank. She is large and in charge. So, a lot of people who attack TOS for not being progressive, they jump right over this episode, and that should be pointed out.
What else did I put here? Oh, yes. Lore says a production assistant stepped on and destroyed the Romulan warbird model. So some clever dialogue later, we recycle. And then Lore also says Hua Chang, its designer, took it home and kept it for himself because as an independent contractor, he had the right to keep the model. I can tell you that the people who are involved with Star Trek verify the latter, not the former. So there is a big section of lore where people believe that some unknown production assistant accidentally stepped on the Romulan warbird model. And they say, oh, that's the whole reason why we had to have the Klingon warbird. But it is more likely through verified stories with connected people that Hua Chang took it back into his own collection and then basically said that he couldn't find it. Some people say that he couldn't find it. Other people say that he put it in storage and was unable to locate it. And then, of course, there are some that just say that he wanted to keep it. So the latter, without the implication of saying what Hua Chang did with it, is the more likely true. I cannot find any evidence outside of repeated lore that an unnamed production assistant destroyed the Romulan warbird model. I'll say that again. I can find no verified evidence that an unnamed production assistant stepped on and destroyed the Romulan warbird model. There are, on the other hand, at least 3 verified books and publications that say that Hua Chang took his model back. So I can only present you with the facts, nothing but the facts beyond the lore, folks.
Just the facts, ma'am. Just the facts.
That's right. Nomad is recycled. It's the
Nomad time. That's
yeah,
right.
from the Changeling, as the Romulan cloaking device. I put on here cosplay beauty, and I underlined it 50 times with an exclamation point. And here we have more Gene. Do you remember when Gene made the executive decision? Helmets save money. So you'll notice all the helmets, and that was, of course, to save time and money, so they didn't have to do ears.
Yeah.
I put a woman is seduced, not a man being seduced by a younger girl. So that's written way on the side of my notes. And here, a triumph of egalitarianism often completely overlooked by critics of TOS, modern critics of the original series. And that's all I have for my notes. That's it, guys.
Nice. Yeah, there's always Mike Beat. Welcome, by the way. It was cool seeing a Nomad return for a little cameo.
Yes. Hey, Nomad.
Hey, Nomad. Thanks. You're doing. I love your new career as a cloaking device. Well done.
Yeah.
2 things. I thought I never had. Again, this kind of extends into later Trek iterations. But I never agreed too much with the Federation being so afraid to have cloaking devices since everyone else was using them. If you were just using them, if you just made a deal that you would only use them to defend to hide from an enemy or something like that, not use them for subterfuge. But that's just me. But anyway, they did steal one and use it here for sure. So now what was that? Yeah, I really enjoyed the scene at the end there where McCoy calls Kirk to tell him to come so he can bob his ears. Unless you want to go through life looking like the first officer.
And
Captain.
I had a pedigreed Doberman for quite some time. So whenever I hear that that line now as an adult, that's a coffee spitting moment because bobbing the ears, it's just so fun. Draco at 25 minutes past the hour says error. Cloaking.
Why am I a cloaking device? Just Joe 47, the great jobber. What's up, buddy? Good to see you.
Hey, did Cardinal Sin just walk in the door?
Did he?
I think he did. Everybody at home, just so you know, on this side of StreamYards, the chat is jumping and some of you are missing. So
there he is.
Do you see him? He's disappeared now on my side, but I thought I saw him.
Just Joe and the great Cardinal Sin. Hey, buddy. Good to see you, Cardinal Sin. Everyone, of course, he and many of our friends here, by the way, have great channels, and of course, he does a stream on Sundays. Just Joe does. I mean, excuse me, Cardinal Sin does. Good to see you, bro. Now let's see here. But yes, again, a good, solid episode, especially by third season standards. I hate to put it that way, but I do like it a lot. So now,
and I just wanted to interrupt. Sorry, please, I beg your pardon. I just wanted to say to Mark D with a C. Now can you see why I got mixed up? Because I got on like a little tangent there, and I went down the rabbit hole of Joanne Linville because I just wanted to know. Like, I've always known that she was an older woman in this episode. But I didn't realize that she was 40 years old when she did this episode. Like, that's just mind blowing to me. So that's how I wound up mixing her up with that other actress. She just, Clobby, what do you think of that? Like, I know that dates me. I'm Gen X though. I'm not a boomer, but I have to ask you, what do you think of that? I love the fact that Star Trek, a woman can be sexy at any age.
Oh, absolutely. Well, absolutely. And I know my buddy Ace Castner, as he mentioned earlier, he likes that. Look, she's beautiful. And and again, also a very good actress. And that's an excellent character that would have been nice to have seen her return. I think Byrne brought her back in one of his Romulan comics, if I'm not mistaken. But anyway, yes. And like I said, her daughter, wow. Just looked just like her, right? When she played her in that Star Trek Continues. So absolutely agree. She's a wonderful character and a beautiful lady, and she's definitely a great, very memorable moment in Star Trek, and that whole thing with her and Spock was definitely good stuff.
Yeah, and when you're looking at these these social issues that people want to discuss over this IP, I think that this, like I said in my notes, I think that I would like to reiterate that if you have those types of feelings about the original IP and you have that about the original series, I challenge you to give this episode a look. I know Sandra Feliciano and I really love the amount of power that women have here. I grew up in the 70s, and there's no way I could imagine having this type of power. So in socio-historical context, this is an incredibly liberating, beautiful flush of egalitarianism and just one of the highest minded ways of looking at the sexuality of women. And you got to watch this episode. It's a good episode, folks, especially if you're one of those people who likes to wag your finger at TOS.
Indeed. Very good one. Let's see, everyone. Now I will ask our fantastic First Officer Raquel for her rating. I'll give you mine, and then I will ask our great chat for their rating of the Enterprise incident.
Okay, for this one, for me, I hate to say it, but I have to go with the truth, folks. Oh, season 3. This is a B+ for me. I can't push it any further than B+, as much as I would love to, because of what this episode symbolizes for women and for egalitarianism, for science fiction, and for society at large. This is a powerful, powerful episode for women and women's representation and just women's dreams. It's just great. But I'm sorry. It can only be a B+ for me, folks.
Well, we hit the same one again. I'm absolutely a B+ as well. We reached, sister. We reached.
Yay!
Yeah. So I'm B+ all the way, which means, look, that's a high rating for Star Trek. Star Trek's fantastic. I mean, you gotta be stingy with those ratings a little bit. I mean, because there are plenty of far just magnificent episodes that far outdo it. But for it's a top-notch third seasoner, and even just going with all the Trek, it's a solid, entertaining episode for sure. So yeah, I mean, so I'm a B+ as well. I like it. And now I would ask our dear chat to give us your rating of the Enterprise incident.
Yes, please do. And when you do, I can see that the Catman, aka Dee Myers, at 31 minutes past the hour, has given his rating. So we'll start there. But don't be afraid to please explain why you gave that rating. This is a community here, and you are important to Clobby and I. And we want to hear your thoughts, and we'll throw it up on the marquee, and we'll definitely read it.
I think our first one, if I hope I'm getting this one right, is actually from our new friend Chuck Marble. Welcome, Chuck. This episode is a current rating of 8.5 out of 10 on IMDb. Oh, I thought you were rating it. I'm sorry. I misunderstood you. That wasn't your rating. I got you, brother. Let's see here. Yes, the Catman, aka Dee Myers. I give it a solid B all the way. Carrie Fisher, Flash. Let's see if this is. Oh yeah, overrated. The characters are so wildly out of character that it doesn't matter. Fool the audience fool the audience for a second. We smell a rat immediately. So there's no believable twist. Bad Mission Impossible. Episode D+ for the my great partner Flash.
I love that. I do love that Flash has said something here that an author would say in an author's room, in a writing room, and that is the power of the twist. And here they used the twist, but like a giant balloon, popped it with a darning needle. So Flash, great comments.
You're just a stickler, dude. Sorry, you're not very nice. Raymond Feliciano, B+, 4 out of 5. No math or cloaking devices. A rare gem in this season. Spock doing James Bond was pretty innovative. I am glad they explored her more in the comics. Yes, they did. She's been in some comics. Phantom Outsider, B. It also established that Federation tech wasn't compatible with Romulan and Klingon tech, which is why the Federation wasn't able to use cloaking technology. But they could have come up with their own, I think. Spock's girlfriend, Kirk's ears, Scotty's laughing.
Phantom Outsider, I love this. Great comments.
Pat S. B for me. Captain Kirk looks like his forehead was attacked by a mink skull. He's rocking those David Perry eyebrows.
So good.
The great Stormtrooper Scuber. I give it a B+. There is a lot of tension before the reveal. A definite Cold War feel to it.
Yes.
The Nimoy-Linville chemistry is palpable. I would agree with that. The great Eric K. B. Who knew it was so easy to disconnect the cloaking device? Yes, because Kirk just basically took a little like pliers or something, right?
I love Eric.
Lucky they left it out like that and proved Scotty is the genius he is, hooking it back up after Kirk ripped it out of the ship. I'm fine with all of that, brother.
I'm fine with all of that too. I love you, Eric.
James Andrew Morrison, A. I'm assuming it's not an A-. I'm always confused when they put that there, if they're just trying to differentiate from their sentence or I mean A-. I'm done it. So A, I'm going with A for you, Andrew. If it's a minus, I apologize. A great episode that set up future encounters with the Romulans and allowed good interplay between the characters. Thank you.
I'm glad you liked it. It is one of those shining stars in season 3, and we all know season 3 is.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, good Lord. Just wait for you're about to. Well, anyway. Toxic Man Flu, 9 out of 10. Kirk in pointy ears gives it the extra point for me. Plus, no Lazarus is always a plus. Yeah, yes. Poor old Lazarus, not in this episode. Elagabalus. I'm getting there, man. I'm getting there. A, I guess you're saying an A or maybe an A-. I can't remember. Yeah, I'm just an idiot. Sorry. Because I have rewatched this particular episode many times, so my rating is a bit biased. Now, nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that at all.
Nothing wrong with that.
The great Steve Mitchum, A for me, 9 out of 10 Rilfs. Rilf as in MILF? Yeah.
Romulan, I'd like to fluff.
Yes, indeed. NCC 1701. Ah, hey,
Romu
I'm all
milfs.
in with the Romu
Oh my
milfs.
goodness! I seriously,
Ace cast iron.
that is the new Spurpees. Ace Cast Iron has christened a new word. Romu milf. Can you
Romu
believe that
milfs.
he said this?
Nice. Love it, man. Love it. Chuck Marble, I'll give it a B plus as well. A few plot anomalies, but quite entertaining. Agreed. Yes.
Great. Thanks, Chuck.
Balinese Minion. I haven't seen this one. I was in a household that didn't watch TV, but that's okay, Palmers. We're just loving seeing you here. We appreciate you.
Yes.
Find some outsider. B, maybe even a B minus, probably a B. Up, B, up prisoners. Up, okay. Then Scotty getting the cloak to work, trying to change the balance of power between Federation and Romulus. Romulans, sorry, thank you. And Romulus, either way. There we go. And they call him Scuba Pete. I'm sorry. A, 4 out of 5 Romulan 90s.
It gets better. Look at 37 minutes past the hour, TMF says.
Oh, I'm a ways from that, but I could jump to it if you need me to.
No,
It might be
I'll just
problematic.
read it. We can put it up after.
Okay.
TMF asks, can you get Spurpees from Romu milfs? I mean, their Spurpees are cloaked.
I would say you probably could.
Can't breathe.
Take a deep breath. The great Lord Thoth. B. This is probably my favorite of season 3. A few plot issues, but still, covert operations with a starship. No Section 31. No, of course not. Kirk's ears and an incredibly sexy Romulan commander in charge. Please, I'm with you, man. I'm with you so
All
much.
of these gentlemen who like women their own age, especially when those women are well put together and sexy and beautiful. I love this chat. I love these men. I am surrounded by a bunch of gentlemen. I love all of you.
We love you. We love you. The great J.T. Kirk. B. I can't help but dream that the Romulan commander stayed with Spock. And we get to explore how the Vulcan romance plays out for 3 to 5 more episodes. Bad Reboot Spock relationship doesn't count because Bad Reboot is filth and that's not Spock. And who knows? Maybe Savick is their love child. Let's see here. Sandra Feliciano. B. It was good for showing a female in a position of power and giving Spock a love interest. But to parallel the Pueblo or Francis Gray powers, the Enterprise wouldn't escape without repercussions.
Yep. And that's a woman who would know. I love your comments, Sandra.
Indeed. Rod Thunderheart, A minus. I believe it means A minus. We'll see. Loved it. But I can't take the nostalgia glasses off compared to this crap today. Well, who can? I don't want mine off.
I would rather watch the very worst of Star Trek, and season 3 is what I tend to call the executive Star Trek. It's when the executives literally walked in the room and started telling people what to do and just basically spoiled everything. I would still rather watch that than any of the unmentionable, unspeakable filth that we do not talk about here on this program. Love that comment, Rod Thunderheart.
Indeed. And at least for whatever problem season 3 had, it stretched the syndication order out and order enough to where they were able to properly syndicate it. That helped the show. It helped us all to keep the show moving in syndication, because without enough, since back then, if you didn't have a good enough for a syndication order, it didn't happen as much.
Well, and we had to, as DC Fontana put in this book earlier, they needed to meet the 70, but they did 79.
Right. Yeah. Back then, because a lot of shows did not get syndicated that much when they had less than 70.
Yeah.
Mike B. I'll be honest. It's been so long since I've watched TOS. Been watching B5 lately. Me too. Think they have it on my rewatch list. Okay. Gotcha.
Hey, Mike.
Just so you know, behind the scenes, Clobby and I have been talking about doing a B5. I'm a B5 virgin, and I'm about to watch it because I'm Canadian, so I have to buy it a la carte. So stay tuned here because Clobby and I might do something with that. We're both really super excited about
Oh,
that,
yes.
and we both love that IP. So stay tuned and join us if we do something like that because something like that is being discussed in the background here, Mike.
Yes, I am chomping at the bit to do a Babylon 5 show, and then would do it with no one. Would rather do it with no one but the wonderful Raquel, first officer. So when if she's able to ever get that and watch that, which I know she will be able to, it'll happen one of these days. We hope.
Yep.
Mark D with a C. A 5 out of 5. Earbobs. Spock as Bond. Spock. Seducing and spying on a powerful commander. Kirk as a Vulcan, well, with Romulan ears. This episode has it all, plus a priceless reaction from Scotty. I gotta love it. Ugh.
Yeah.
Woman commanding was groundbreaking.
I think that he meant Romulan there, not Kirk as a Vulcan, but Kirk as a Romulan. But yeah.
Yes, indeed. And again, it's funny they point out in this episode that when Chekhov is scanning for Spock on the Romulan ship, and the very, very tiny, minute differences between the biosigns of a Vulcan and a Romulan. So, 1 of 4 for the great Ash Singh. A plus. Another great episode. Who knew Spock could be such a flirt? That sly green-blooded dog. Excuse me. All the Romulan stuff. Seeing more of them and Romulan Kirk was cool.
Mm-hmm.
See number 2. I'll get to yours, Draco. Just said the leading lady was beautiful, agreed, and great, and just falling into Spock's hands because she seemed like she genuinely cared for him.
Yeah.
It's true, adorable, and yes, she is a real. That's absolutely she is. And she was adorable.
Love you guys. I love you guys so much.
This episode being basically a Black Ops. In broad daylight, insurgent straight into the neutral zone to steal the cloaking device was thrilling.
Great.
And yes, this is Ash again. Also, Raquel asked, and I have a bit to say. So I sent my Trek story to Raquel through Twitter. Thank you.
Okay, that's great.
Thanks,
if you're new here, I just want everyone to understand. Not only is Ash Singh our colleague, so he does streams with us, but through Ash, we're cultivating that next generation. We want to give him the baton and people just like him, young people, so that this IP doesn't die. And Ash Singh is one of those wonderful people who's a 20-something who is actually interested in the original series. He's interested in the whole IP, and he's experiencing it for the first time with us. So that is why we are so keen to hear what he has to say. We sort of feel like we're the caretakers of this IP, and we want to make sure that it doesn't die and that it lives on forever, and that people continue to watch it and care for it. So that's why the spotlight's on Ash, and also because Ash is he's the cat's meow. We love him.
Ash is one of our great buddies. We love you, brother. Draco Argentis, first time I've seen here. So we welcome. Draco says, I've never evaluated it logically. This is a top episode of mine. Emotionally, it fills many satisfactions for Spock plus Commander. Funny moments too.
Mm-hmm.
I would not go below A- without some discussion.
What an intelligent way of expressing how you feel, Draco. I totally respect that, and I love your rationale. I 100% respect that rating. I know Clobby does too, and definitely
Indeed.
that rationale. So thank you so much for sharing your thoughts with us. And you know what, Draco, there are hundreds of thousands of people out there who agree with you. So great to hear.
Absolutely. I hope I'm not missing anyone, everyone. My eyesight, and I got this, my screen's way far back from me. So I'm making sure, I hope I didn't miss anyone's rating before we move on. JT Kirk says, Raquel, we could both be B5 virgins together.
Yeah. Well, yeah, just so you
Yeah.
know, it's because I'm Canadian. So I like to, well, one of the problems is that I like to watch things in a linear fashion. I'm not somebody who can imbibe things as they are, you know, on rerun on a sci-fi network. So that's one part of the problem. And the second part of the problem is the availability here in Canada. So, yeah, total virgin to the B5, and I'm ready to jump in. I'm so excited for it. And as the internet opens up and things become more available, and we have these streaming services, I'm now able to watch it. So the only way I can get it in my area, I believe, is through the Apple, and I have to buy it a la carte. But I am so excited and can't wait to get to it.
I'm looking forward to that. That's going to be great. I love it. It looks like, let's see, Pod Racing Palpatine, welcome. Not seen this episode in a while, but I recall enjoying it. I'll give it an A minus. It needs some pod racing. It does. There should have been a pod race at the end of that one. It would have made it even better. So, yeah, good to see you, Pod Racing Palpatine. So I think we got everyone. If we did not, I apologize. I tried to catch it as much as I can. Let's see here. But I think I do believe we could be ready to move on to our next episode. Who's ready? Just everyone is okay. Everyone, all right, everybody. The moment you've been, did Thoth give us a rating? Yes, he did. Okay, I'm just making sure. Yeah. Okay, if we missed anyone, I'm sorry. You can throw that thing out there still. A+ from Lord Thoth. From what?
I think he's throwing out some sarcasm right off the hop.
Oh, damn it.
This is how you know we're in trouble.
I know he loves that. We're in trouble. Oh, boy. All right, everyone. Our next episode is... Go for it.
Okay, so it is And the Children Shall Lead, which is season 3, episode 4. And for those of you who have been with us for a long time, we're on prod code 60. Believe it or not, we have covered 60 episodes. Now, before I give way to the block text, incidentally, that would be tile 280, 281. I do have some house cleaning to do on this one. And that is to say right off the hop that there is some language going on in here that will be a little bit weird for me to handle. The reason being is that it is some Latin mixed with Greek, and it's not correct, and the spellings are mixed up. So you may hear me make mistakes. It's not because I haven't watched the episode, or I don't know how to say these names. It's that it's very difficult for somebody who speaks English and then who was taught Greek, and then you're reading it off the paper, and you realize that someone with a very lovely imagination wanted to make up a word, and so they take some Latin and they take some Greek and they smush it together, because sometimes I will revert because of that gymnastics going on in my mind. So we have more made up morphed Greek with other languages here. We have the Greek 3 is making an appearance here. However, it is being mispronounced as triachus, which obviously, if you've been here for a while, you know that the Greek suffixes are actually is, as, os, not us. And it's not gorgan. That is a completely made up word. They're borrowing from Greek mythology here, and it's Gorgon. And you would know Gorgon as Medusa. So if while I'm reading, I have not pre-read this, but if that is included here, and I'm sure it will be, if I slide in and out of the mental gymnastics of the made-up language, you'll know why. So without further ado, And the Children Shall Lead on tile 280, 281. After beaming down to the planet Triachus, Kirk's landing party discovers that all the adult members of a scientific expedition based there have committed suicide. Curiously, the scientists' children are fine. In fact, they're a little too fine. They seem strangely unconcerned with their parents' deaths and are primarily interested in playing games. The children are brought to the ship, where they promptly proceed to summon an entity they met on Triacus. Although this creature is known as Gorgon, the friendly angel, he is actually evil incarnate and the being responsible for the deaths of the adults on the planet. The children's belief in Gorgon make him powerful, and he turns that power against the crew of the Enterprise via the trustful children. By the time Kirk realizes that the children are under the malevolent influence, it's too late. Gorgon has taken control of the ship. The transparent fellow who called himself Gorgon orated his powerful closing statement with the competence of a great defense attorney, as he should have been expected to, given that the actor playing him was just that. Attorney Melvin Belli is Belli. Is it Belli?
Yes.
Okay.
He became famous 30 some years later in the OJ trial. But
Oh, that was him. Oh wow.
he was old. He was born old. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, he's born old. Belli is perhaps best known for representing Jack Ruby, the Texas bar owner who killed Lee Harvey Oswald shortly after Oswald was arrested for the assassination of President John F. Kennedy. Among Belli's other high-profile clients, the Rolling Stones, following the death of a fan at their Altamont free concert.
Oh yeah, that's right.
They hired the Hells Angels to
do
the security, and people died.
That's right. A girl died, I believe.
Was it a girl died? It was just a single girl. Yeah. Okay. Belli also took a special interest in defending the underdog in personal injury cases against powerful adversaries such as Coca-Cola and Dow Corning. Oh, so then probably that massive, given his age, that massive lawsuit in the United States with the Dow Corning breast implants. Well, being interviewed for a profile in Playboy magazine, Belli noted that he might have become an actor had he not studied law. His high profile gave him the opportunity to take on his second calling, and his two career choices sometimes overlapped. He appeared as himself in the motion picture Wild in the Streets, and again in the cop series Hunter, as he played various fictitious characters in other films and TV shows. Mm-hmm. Gorgon may be a best remembered television role. However, it's certainly the only one in which he wore what could best be described as a fancy shower curtain. Under the guise of sci-fi, Star Trek's writers delved into touchy subjects that otherwise might not have met with the network's approval. And The Children Shall Lead fits into this category of message episodes, with what appears to be a cautionary look at the Hitler Youth movement of the 1920s to the 1940s, and an indictment of the movement's policy for teaching children to inform on their parents if they weren't following the party line. Early in his regime, Adolf Hitler stated that the future of the, I don't think I'm supposed to say that on air, Yahtzee, Germany was its children. He ordered that most teenagers join the Hitler Youth, or its auxiliary for girls. These young people were taught Yahtzee dogma, anti-Semitic policies, and military tactics. The objective of the youth groups was to build a supportive following for Hitler. Direct parallels to that objective can be heard in Gorgon's ranting, "You are my future generals. Our purity of purpose cannot be contaminated." Unfortunately, in this case, the message seems to have been diluted to the point that it was missed, misunderstood, or disregarded by viewers, who have consistently ranked this episode near the bottom of the 79.
To put a mildly.
Oh my, lots on this episode.
Alex James, welcome.
Okay, children performers often have a difficult time transitioning into successful adult careers in the entertainment industry. But three of the youngsters who appeared in And the Children Shall Lead moved on to such success. Before her role as Mary, 9-year-old Pamelin Ferdin was already well established, having appeared in many popular shows in the 1960s like Bewitched, My Three Sons, A Family Affair. Following her Star Trek appearance, Ferdin voiced the character in Lucy in the animated movie A Boy Named Charlie Brown, and she was the voice of Lucy? And 2 specials on TV. She also voiced a character on Charlotte's Web, an animated version of E.B. White's classic tale in 1973. That's a beautiful book. In addition to her active career in voiceover work, she also appeared in dozens of television series, including Mannix, The Odd Couple, Lassie, and The Streets of San Francisco. Beyond her acting career, Ferdin has been recognized for her work saving neglected and abused animals. Brian Toshi, who played Ray, was very busy after his Star Trek appearance, co-starring in such series as The Brady Bunch, Kung Fu, and Diagnosis Murder. His motion picture credits include The Omega Man with Charlton Heston and the Revenge of the Nerds movie. What? He was in Revenge of the Nerds? Like Ferdin, he had done extensive work behind the microphone, lending his voice to Leonardo in the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle movies. Oh my goodness. I wish Tom Connors was here. And voicing characters for Mortal Kombat, The Iron Giant, Batman, Batman Beyond, Family Guy, Avatar, and The Last Airbender. Perhaps most impressive are 2 career paths that Craig Hundley followed. Prior to appearing as Tommy Starnes on Star Trek, Hundley had been seen in a series ranging from The Beverly Hillbillies to Star Trek as Kirk's nephew Peter in the first season episode Operation Annihilate. I remember him from that. As he continued acting, he concentrated on his musical talents with his group, the Craig Hundley Trio. He played piano on his own jazz compositions, drawing standing ovations when performing on The Tonight Show starring Johnny Carson and he was on the Jonathan Winter Show?
Wow.
Hundley soon found himself writing and recording background music for TV shows like Alfred Hitchcock Presents and Knots Landing, as well as the features for Dreamscape, Star Trek IV, The Voyage Home, and 2010, among others. It's interesting to note that composer Jerry Goldsmith was nominated for an Academy Award for scoring Star Trek, the motion picture. For that score, Goldsmith turned to a singular musical instrument called the blaster beam to augment V'ger's probe screen time. The blaster beam, a 15-foot-long device that uses motorized magnets and a series of artillery shell casings to produce its unique sound, was invented by Craig Hundley. What?
Wow.
And that is the end of the block coverage on And the Children Shall Lead. Holy. Well, what did you think of that coverage, chat? And what did you think of that coverage, Clobby?
That coverage was 10 billion times better than the garbage episode.
I was just going to say the same thing.
Wow. I mean, that's because you learned something. All you learned from the episode is how strong-willed you are by not throwing yourself out of a window. Not jumping off of something.
Did TMF leave? TMF, I love you. Good night, honey.
Good night, TMF. Good night. If I were to pick a worst episode of the original series, this might be it for me, folks. This might be it.
Really?
I mean,
like the alternative factor? Are we going to arm wrestle over the alternative factor in the children?
No, I think people should be allowed to pick their own worst one. But this, for me, is worse because the alternative factor has the germ of an idea and it's badly handled. So I don't know if this. I mean, the idea is just it's sound but weak, and a sound but not in great shakes. Alien convinces a bunch of kids that to help him steal the Enterprise or whatever. Fine. I mean, who cares if it's not bad or in and of itself? It's the execution that is absolutely mind-boggling. It's horrible. And I get the impression. I mean, you don't know this unless they say it, but there are sometimes I'm sure even the actors are like, oh God, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? And they just don't they phone it in. I mean, look, now Lord Thoth, I think it's a little far to say that it's worse than anything that bad. I'd watch this 15 million times before any of the Jar Jar movie filth or any of the bad reboot filth like SCD or P Hard or in that Glower Drex crap.
No filth here.
Yeah. So It's bad Trek, but at least it's our bad Trek.
Yeah.
So, but it's
I
bad.
think these were actually Lazarus's kids. Scuba Pete. I love you, Scuba Pete.
At least Lord thought at least the new alternative factor has beards.
Oh, yeah, but those are those gross puby type of beards. I hate those beards, LT. They're awful.
Oh my God. It's so freaking horrible though. I mean, this oh my God. For every bit of it.
And Snortapoopus says, I have a feeling that the cast was really demoralized by the end of the third season. Yeah, they were. And it literally, it is due 100%. And this isn't lore. This is confirmed information. It was because these executives inserted themselves and started saying, look, we need more Chekhov. We need more, hey, we're the monkeys. And we're going to get to just how much they inserted themselves.
No.
When we get to Spock's brain, but Snortapoopus, yeah, they have the worst comments about what was done to them in season 3, and it's not lore, and it's not just some crazy story somebody cooked up for a convention. It was really demoralizing for them. Just awful. So,
It's
excellent
embarrassing.
comment. Yeah.
It's embarrassing.
Yeah.
You know, for every bit of it, the cornball music, every time the kid makes a masturbating move to use this to summon up the shots of the kids doing their little fist thing, their little
Hail, me.
oh, doing their little wanking little gesture to summon forth. Like, do they? I know it was 1968 or whatever, all that kind of stuff, but do they really? I mean, do they look at the kids and go, "Kids, do this," and then here's what's the director. Here's what you do this with your fist, and that's gonna be great because you're summoning.
So
it looks so goddamn stupid. It's like, what is wrong with you? How do you make this freaking episode? And
Gorgon, if it's Gorgon, just
Gorgon,
say that it's
yeah.
Gorgon.
Yeah,
don't say Gorgon. And what's with this Triacus?
Trachus.
Yeah.
Oh, how you like how they beam the two guys out into space? I'm like, okay, that's great. Oh my God. And then, yeah.
And the kids are brats. Snortapoopus. The kids are brats.
How about, yeah, they are. But the kids, I mean, that's why. How about, okay, look, I can buy into the bit where Uhura sees her, that face, and it's real scary for her and all this kind of horse shit. But why is Sulu giving a crap? Why are we supposed to think it's scary to see knives on the screen? Knives and swords.
I knew you were going to say that. I knew you were going to say that because that's exactly my feeling.
Why is that scary?
Yeah, like, why is it scary that there are knives spinning?
Or
that would be like a shopping spree for him, because wasn't he supposed to be like an expert swordsman and was adept at the foil? So if he's adept at the foil and he's an expert swordsman, which I absolutely love because they didn't turn him into the kung fu guy. Why would spinning weaponry that he would be familiar with, why would that frighten him? So that was another thing that I didn't like. The tunnel of buying. Like, is he afraid that he'll have to buy them all? Like, it looked like a shopping spree for me, for a swordsman.
It was a dumb visual image. Everything about this episode is dumb and embarrassing and silly. And, the stuff with, I don't know, I guess, there's a little bit of a nugget there when Kirk is, when he and Spock are finally conquering the thing and they beat it with their will. They beat the control. That's fine, but that's nothing because the episode is just a piece of horse manure that they should go. They should look at the script and go, take this out of here. No way. We're not filming it. This is stupid. Everything about this is dumb. You can't make this good. Leave it. Granted, there are maybe some sillier episodes in the season, but this was some really stupid, silly crap.
As Colonel Potter would say, that's horse hockey.
Horse hockey. Well, yeah, I like it. Horse hockey. Sherman Potter would call this one horse hockey. You got that right. So, everyone, I'm going to ask my wonderful first officer for her review of "And the Audience Shall Bleed," and then I'll give you mine. And my eyes are bleeding.
Oh my God!
And,
so funny. That's a gooder.
You can see you can't see the chyron at the bottom of this thing there. You don't see the banner at the bottom?
What does it say? No, I can't. That's because I've been doubled over laughing. The audience shall bleed. You've got it on the ticker.
Yes. So
Saturday Night Star Trek TOS
Saturday
episode
Star Trek,
review, and the audience shall bleed. Live long and
yes,
prosper.
if you watch this episode, you are bleeding from the eyeballs.
Okay,
So,
okay. Let me do my notes because
I'm sorry, I forgot your notes.
He's already thrown up his rating. So watch at 6 minutes after the hour.
No
Okay,
ratings yet. I'm sorry, I jumped the gun.
No, it's okay, honey.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
We've been here for 2 hours. Nobody's expecting perfection, and if they are, okay. So here we go. So this was voted at the 50 as the 7th worst Star Trek of all time.
7
in the 50. So, and that's at the Vegas 50.
Okay.
Nimoy named it as among the worst, and he said it openly at a con in 1986.
Good.
And here I go all Greek. So Gorgon or Gorgos means grim or terrible. They're creatures from Greek mythology, mythos. The earliest depictions are from Homer, 1194 BCE to 1184 BCE. Medusa is a gorgon. Some scholars have made the argument that Humbaba is a gorgon as well. And if you are familiar with the Epic of Gilgamesh, you know who Humbaba is. The Hitler commentary is too much like Miri. You have these evil brats. Funny how the idea of children has evolved. So I just was putting that in my notes. It's so funny how as a social scientist, I look at the way that parents view children, and I remember, in the 50s and the 60s, kids were brats. In the 70s, they were latchkey kids. In the 80s, they needed to be loved, and in the 90s and the 2000s, we have the helicopter parents, where children need to be wrapped in bubble wrap. So here, I do kind of like the fact that it shows that kids are like annoying little brats, because of course, and not because they all are, but because I like the fact that now it's almost taboo to be able to say that a kid's a brat. A kid always has some underlying thing wrong when actually they're just a brat.
We probably all were. What the hell?
Yeah. The first appearance of the United Federation of Planets flag. We did the United Federation of Planets in the Menagerie Part 2, but just so you know, that was the actual UN flag. And the title of the show is from Isaiah 11:6 in the King James Bible. And that's all I have in my notes, folks.
Well, good God. There may be some episodes I hate more than this one this season, but I'm not so sure, folks. There's some as bad, I think. This one, oh, Jesus. And I think another,
Chris, please, I'm sorry to interrupt you. I beg your pardon, Captain.
Right.
Please.
I'm way behind on the chat. Let me go.
9 minutes past the hour, just put up by Chris.
Okay.
The comment is just so good.
Oh, well, that's a high rating there, Chris.
And I cite everything in this episode as my evidence.
That's a high rating. That's a rave. You must really love this episode to give it that high rating.
I love you, Chris.
Chris Paraja. Okay, so everyone, I'm going to ask my wonderful first officer her rating of, and the audience shall bleed until they drop dead. And then I'm going to give mine. And then I will ask you for yours, my friends. So go for it.
It is a D-. Final answer.
High praise. All right, episode. All right, but since we have to have some bottom rating, folks,
What is the bottom rating?
I'm giving this one an F-.
What? You can't have less than fail.
This is an F-. This is the lowest I can go, and I would go lower than that. A Z maybe or something.
Chuck says, let's go to G.
Shit.
G as in god awful.
Only, you know what? I'm going to keep it at the F, but I'm giving it an S, special F minus, everyone. But that we'll stay at that. Let's keep it above that if we could, just for the hell of it, because you could get ridiculous, and
Oh,
you know,
just crying on this side.
because it's not like we're in TNG and talking about Sub Rosa or anything. I'm sorry. I don't know if that. Well, there's some TNGers that can rival this stinker.
Oh yeah, but this one is a big pooper. You
Who
could
is
light
it
this
ever?
one on fire and leave it on your neighbor's doorstep. But not really. I'm not advocating that. Please do not do that. I was kidding.
I got. So I'm an F minus on this one, folks, only because it's a special place in my whatever you want to call it for of hatred. D minus for James and Drew Morrison. I couldn't get a handle on it. Logan's run made silly. Oh, Logan's made silly. A prime example of what happens when creators are pushed aside by management.
Great comment, Jam. James, you are my jam.
Chuck Marvel. G hasn't got awful yet.
Yeah, I read that.
Well, it's hard. You know, he made a new rating. It's that special. F for Raymond. F for,
Forget about it.
Forget about it. There you go. I got H. Lord Thoth. Double D's minus. I could never give a classic TOS episode an F, but darn, this comes close. Nothing really good about this episode. Worst episode of all time. Now I cannot agree with you. There's nothing worse than Discovery. STD.
Please don't talk about that filth on this show.
Yes,
you mean
if
P
you do,
hard?
If you say P hard and STD, yeah. Dude, it's not worse than those two. But I wish, you know what I do wish? I wish STD would remake this one so we could have something worse. And Michael Burnham could hug it out with Gorgon.
Listen, LT is my friend. I really care about him. I think he's a smart and wonderful person. But I love how revealing it is when you meet a true Trekkie, a person who truly loves Star Trek, because at the same time that they're criticizing it, they come out with the phrase, I could never give a classic Trek episode an F. What a beautiful thing to say. And that's exactly how I feel. I would like to fail this student. I would like to boot this student out of my class, take a Jiffy marker, and remove them from my class list. But I just can't do it because it's Star Trek, so the original series. So great comment, LT. You know I love you and respect you so much. And I agree, this is a stinker. This is total...
But you see, the thing is, though, it's still above any filth like fake direct filth like STD.
Yes, certainly.
It's just stupid, and you watch it, and you laugh, and you groan. It's not horribly, disgustingly trashing Star Trek. It's just not good. Whereas STD is an insult to Star Trek. So
it is.
This is just a crappy episode. Really crappy.
Till you get the Scuba Pete. You're gonna laugh.
Elagabalus F Celsius. I hate this episode when a child. Children are annoying. Irritating and grating on nerves. Haven't watched it since the 70s. And always bypass it when binge watching TOS hippie colors.
Love it.
And they got more hippies on the way. Yeah. So there you go. F, says Steve Mitchum. Or maybe it means F minus like me. I don't know. I don't think I need to explain. No, you don't, buddy.
Oh, so funny.
NCC 1701 F. This ship in this episode eats dog anus. Oh, shit.
Oh, boy.
Yes, sir, it does.
That's bad. That is very bad.
F for Snortopubas Cuber. Bad acting from Belli.
Yeah.
At least he wasn't an actor. Everybody else was bad too, but you're right. Belli's a jagoff. Man, but like he was born old. I mean, this guy was part of the OJ trial, for God's sake, 30-something years later.
Yeah.
Those horrid kids. Oh, God. And I did recognize that girl from a bunch of stuff, by the way.
Yeah.
She was on Sigmund the Sea Monster. Anyway, Uhura suddenly acquires the mirror at her station, and in case she needs to fix her hair during a red alert.
Yeah. And that's the thing, Snortopoopas. What a smart comment. And that's what I'm saying. Like, if you're going to make it a
Why is there a
gorgon,
mirror there?
just make it a gorgon, because in Greek mythos, that's how you get killed by a gorgon.
Right.
You see their image and you're so horrified by it that it turns you to stone.
Right.
And so if you're going to use the gorgon, use the gorgon. We don't need Gorgon in his mother's caftan. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah, it's not Clash of the Titans.
Like, anyway, love that comment. Snortopoopas!
D+ for the great Pat S. And the children shall lead them. Out an airlock, worst Harry Potter movie. 48. Oh, God. Love it, man. I love it, Pat S. Well said. Well done, buddy.
I want to buy that person lunch. Pat S, I need to buy you lunch at the next big con.
Oh, man. There you go. D- for Eric K. That angel was not so friendly. The grown-up should have grabbed a kid trying to pound his fist and start a spanking. Yes, this was not one of my favorite, to say the least. No kidding, buddy. Yeah.
And I love that Eric broke another taboo. Spanking. You don't believe that, do you, Eric?
Exactly. Oh, dear. Mark D with a C. Toxic Man Flu rating. Oh, yeah. Toxic Man Flu rating. Gave a rating, let's see, but I will give my rating for the episode. I forgot what topic Man Flu, but I know Man Flu didn't like it. Z, annoying kids would have been a problem eradicated in the 23rd century. You kids, get off my starship
instead of get off my lawn.
Sandra Feliciano. D, not great, but better than anything out these days. Well, I mean, yeah, but it's sort of like saying, you know what? Yes, I did get my hand chopped off, but at least I didn't get both my legs chopped off. So that's something. I can walk. So yeah, but it still sucked getting your hand chopped off. Not just saying. But yes, Sandra, I'm so with you. The great S Singh. Wow, he's got an epic for us.
6.
C.
He has some fifis here.
C. I guess a C- and A+. Oh, A+. Yes, are you okay? This was a great episode from a psychological standpoint. In my case, psychologically, I was not standing. I was trying to hide under something.
Clobby is scarred, so it is psychological because Clobby is scarred.
Yeah, exactly. To start with, I wanted to slap all those irritating, annoying kids into the next universe, but by the end, I felt sorry for them. Well, yeah, I mean, of course, they were just stupid kids being controlled. This episode explores the innocence and susceptibility of children, especially when promised with freedom and playtime by a higher power away from parents. Do what you want when you want. But it was done 10 billion times better on a masterpiece episode of The Twilight Zone called It's a Good Life with Billy Mummy. Ash, by the way. S thing number 3, it says, by the end, my heart went out to them when the kids are stricken with the grief and trauma at the realization their parents are all now deceased. And, I'll give you that's the one genuine bit of the episode.
Yes,
that's true.
That's true.
Yeah. That they'll have to live with the trauma of their parents-induced suicide for the rest of their lives. The Trek stuff was meh at best. I like the way Desh thinks.
Yeah.
He tries to see that good silver lining.
He does.
Indeed. The hand thing and the chanting, the kids were stupid. Oh God, that's probably what really gets me. The spinning wheel of swords was bad, and I personally thought kind of offensive. Asian guy instantly equals swords and weapons now. Didn't even think of that. Well, there you go. I mean, ultimately, this episode was excellent and utter shit at the same time. Dude, that's amazing, man. There you go. I'm glad I'm more simple and just hate it. That would be tough, man. But I love what you say, Ash. You the man. You always bring it, buddy. F. Even though it may not be a minus, I'm going to say F minus just anyway for the great JT Kirk as well. This one is as ugly as a gorgon to set eyes. Yeah, should have put, and the children shall turn to stone. To set eyes on. Also, moldy gorgonzola cheese is more palpable. If only we could pound a closed fist into an open hand and make this thing go away.
Yeah, and thank you for spelling Gorgon correctly instead of Gorgan. I don't know what they were going for here, but if you're going to use mythos, just use mythos, especially when you're going to turn people to stone. Just do that. Just
Fair
do
enough.
it. Just do
Fair
it.
enough. F for the great Mark D with the C. 0 out of 5 curtains. Alien devil as potential. You know, I mean, but it's just an alien. I mean, they should just treat it like a freaking alien. But nothing made sense. Annoying kids, cringe dialogue, weak, Yahtzee youth theme.
Yeah.
I never even really. I guess I was just too pissed off the episode to pick up on any subtleties. I must admit, I'm simple in that way. I felt like Spock mind melding. It felt like Spock with a Horta yelling pain. Yes.
Yep.
The Great Flash. Super creepy intro with an episode that doesn't go as dark as its intro allowed. Could have been great horror, but failed to capitalize. I guess I meant to recapitalize. Missed opportunities, but not horrendous. C+ for me. Not horrendous, dude. We're gonna have to have a talk.
Yeah.
You the man, Flash. But you know,
this is my favorite. This is my favorite because if it's a Greek episode and this is a Gorgon, and so it's a male Medusa, he's wearing a kaftan and turning people to stone. Here we have Scuba Pete teaching everyone the word malaka. He's not actually doing that, but if you speak Greek, you know what I mean right now. Please read this wonderful, wonderful comic, Clobby.
Okay. Let's see here. D- for Scuba. I called him Scuba Peach. This episode warranted a good timeout. No wanking on the bridge, young man.
Scuba Pete. Scuba
shit.
Pete, I love you.
Oh my goodness. Oh man. Where are we? See if we got all of them. Oh, here we go. The Great Rod Thunderheart. A rare C+. Can't give to you. That's a bad episode. You're much kinder man than I, sir. Liger fan. This up isn't the butcher's knife cares not for the lamb's cry, but what is? What is indeed? What is?
Isn't that the beginning of the Isaiah scripture? 11:6? I think it might be. I think Liger's fan actually knows the Bible. I believe that's the beginning of the passage, but I could be wrong.
Oh, excellent. I used to know some Bible, but did not know that one. The only way I like this episode is if the Gorgon turned us all into peeps who were stoned. From the Lord thought said, I'm making sure I got them all here, folks. I think Draco.
Oh, that was just so much fun. I love you all. I love you all so much.
One of the first experiences with imagining something better than I saw, but the original apps, I don't believe it failed. Silly bits, bad ideas, supporting the never work. Supporting the never work with kids trope. Yes, good point.
Yeah, they never work with kids trope. Yeah,
indeed.
And especially Draco, don't work with children who wank in public.
Absolutely. No wanking on the bridge. I love that. Scuba Pete wins the day there. Let's see. The Great Canadian Spidey. I'm sorry, but this is a C-. Anything with kids isn't my bag. You monster. I didn't even like myself as a kid. I'm still
Canadian
a kid,
Spider-Man. Man. I love you. I love you so much. Oh, you know, earlier Chuck Marble had said that he kept on imagining the dialogue from Miri, and it's funny because I did too. Yes. Here we have it, right?
Bonk on the head.
Yeah.
Oh shit! Let's see here. Making sure we got them all.
Raymond says, "Wanking leads to spurpies, and certainly public wanking would lead to spurpies." So,
yes, indeed, the wankers. Well, I think we got all of our ratings for this travesty of an episode. Do we not? Let's make sure.
I think that's it for this one. I think we're ready to move on to the next one.
Okay, well, all right, everyone. I wish I could say it gets better from here. I wish I could guarantee. I wish we could just jump right, just backtrack to the doomsday machine, but I don't think we're going to be doing that tonight. So, and without further, are we ready for our next and final episode of the evening? Or as Johnny Carson used to say, I hold in my hand the final envelope. And then everyone would start, cheering because he's got the final envelope. And he would curse them somehow. Karnak, Ed, I have the final envelope. All right. So here we go, episode. The final episode is Spock's brain damage.
Dun, 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 dun. Spock's brain. This is season 3, episode 1. Yeah, that's right. Let's revisit what I just said. Season 3, episode 1. An executive actually made an executive decision to make this episode, season 3, episode 1, out of the 61 episodes that they had produced. Let's take a moment to think about these executives inserting themselves into season 3 and to what effect. Depressing.
Yes,
boy,
everyone.
Alex James is leaving. Alex James, thank you so much for coming tonight. So happy that that you said that during a break in which I would notice it. Thank you so much for coming tonight, and I hope I will see you next week, sir.
Good night, Alex. Thanks for being there, buddy. Go ahead. Everyone get ready for the great vegetable rebellion of Star Trek. Go ahead.
Look at the ticker. Everybody look at the ticker that Clobby put up.
A beautiful woman materializes on the bridge of the Enterprise and renders everyone aboard unconscious. When Kirk awakens, he notices that Spock is missing from his post. A few seconds later, he receives a call from McCoy, who informs Kirk that the Vulcan is down in sickbay, lying on a diagnostic bed, with his brain surgically removed. McCoy estimates that they must track down the missing organ within 24 hours, or Spock's body will die. Following the ion trail left by the mysterious woman's spacecraft, the Enterprise arrives in the Sigma Draconis system. I'm not going to say it the way they say it on the episode because it's wrong. And Kirk confronts the brain snatcher, an imorg named Kara. Although Kara isn't particularly bright, she refuses to be cowed by Kirk and company. Her people need the controller, their terminology for Spock's brain, which is now running much of the equipment on her world, and they have no intention of returning it. Ask the average fan for his or her opinion about the best episode of Star Trek, and perhaps you'll get a fair sampling. The City on the Edge of Forever, The Trouble with Tribbles, The Cage, Journey to Babel, Balance of Terror. But ask the same fan about the worst episode, and chances are you're going to hear one answer more than any other: Spock's brain. It's hard to fault that choice. Beautiful, but apparently moronic women in very short skirts steal Spock's brain so the organ can run their planet's central control system, circulating air, purifying water, and operating heating plants. Why? Because the old controller is finished, presumably on its last leg, hemisphere. But why choose Spock's brain? That's never made clear. Obviously, he'd be the best choice if all you had to choose from were members of the Enterprise crew. But all of the inhabitants of the entire galaxy? Really? Well, I have lots of things to say about that because that's kind of a weird conclusion to jump to. Anyways, I'm going to keep going.
True.
Yet, for all the reasons there are to hate this episode, there are an equal number of reasons to love it. Call it a guilty pleasure. Spock's brain is so clearly wrong in every single way, from the beauty pageant smile on the face of the imorg brain thief Kara when she first shows up on the bridge of the Enterprise, to the fact that Spock's brain is both removed and replaced over the course of the episode without mussing a single hair on his head. Perhaps he has a fruit top cranium.
Oh God.
Which brings to mind one serious question. The opening episode of a show's new season is supposed to set the tone for the coming year and tantalize the audience into tuning in for more the following week. Star Trek's first season led with a man trap, an eerie episode with a scary alien creature and lots of action. Fair enough. The second season premiered with Amok Time. Sensational. You can't get better than that. And then there was season 3, Spectre of a Gun, was the first episode produced, but it was held from airing until the end of October. If the episodes had been aired in production order, that's when Spock's brain would have appeared. So, which executive at NBC thought that Spock's brain would make the perfect third season opener? And what was the tone he was trying to set? I'm glad she asked that because I ask that question often. As the decades fly by, the original Star Trek, with its beloved cast, familiar catchphrases, vivid primary colors, and somewhat unrealistic appearing alien creatures, seems to become more and more retro, but in a good way, of course, a fun way, which is why it made sense when one of the country's preeminent comedy club chains, the Improv, approached Paramount Pictures in 2004 and asked to license a Star Trek episode for live reenactment on stage at its Irvine, California location. It wouldn't be a spoof of the series, the club's owner promised, nor would it be a put down, nor would it put down the show's audience, sorry. The performers would take one script and perform it verbatim on stage for a paying audience's enjoyment. Paramount would even be allowed to pick the episode. Oh, interesting. For something that was going to be performed at a comedy club, it might have made sense to pick one of Star Trek's 3 acknowledged comedies, The Trouble with Tribbles, A Piece of the Action, and I, Mud. But the studio's licensing department reasoned, since those shows were already funny, they wouldn't have lent the performers much room to flex their creative muscles and give the episode a slightly different edge. Perhaps it would be better to choose something that hadn't originally been intended as a comedy, but that would nevertheless come across as extremely amusing in the right hands. Thus, when the comedy actors at the Irvine Improv received their scripts, they discovered they had committed to perform Spock's brain. Not surprisingly, the cast got it immediately, as did the audience, who drove from as far as 50 miles away to enjoy just a few hours of slightly hammy nostalgia. Originally scheduled to run on Wednesday nights for 4 successive weeks, the show picked up several encore performances due to popular demand and a command performance at the year's annual Star Trek convention extravaganza in Las Vegas, where the crew faced its toughest audience, the hardcore Trekkies. The outcome? The Trekkies were by far the most appreciative audience of all. The stunned players even received requests for autographs, which had never happened to them in Irvine. There's a lovely photograph of the promotional posters on tile 286, 287. And that'll take us to the next episode, folks. That is the end of the blog coverage on Spock's brain. So I'm going to turn it over to Clobby and to the chat. Hey, guys, what did you think of Block's coverage on this? And what are your thoughts on this episode?
Interesting coverage, as always. I've often called Spock's brain damage the Great Vegetable Rebellion of Star Trek. For any of my friends who are familiar with it, a show that I love, by the way, beloved Lost in Space. I love the show. When I was a kid, the Batman TV show and Lost in Space were gospel to me. They were my life when I was very young. And even that first season or so, Lost in Space is a little bit more serious than the show got later, but it got really silly. But it's okay. It was a family show. It was a kid's show. And it was a lot of fun. And they had, no one ever expect Lost in Space to be Star Trek.
Mm-hmm.
But Star Trek shouldn't be lost in space either.
Mm-mm.
And this episode is about that level.
Mm-hmm.
In terms of being an idiotic plot. Again, if you're familiar with Lost in Space, everyone you know about the infamous one of the like second or third last episode of the series called The Great Vegetable Rebellion. This episode is that stupid. And it's
Danger. Will Robinson. Danger. Will
Warning,
Robinson.
bad episode. Will Robinson. Bad episode. I've often said this is kind of I've said this when people have said, "Why do you really hate this episode so much?" When it's at least funny. It is funny. Okay, I mean, obviously, from a lot of what Raquel was just talking about with some of that coverage, it's funny. There's no question about it. And the Children's Lead is not funny. We have to. It's funny to make fun of, but it's not really funny. This one's funny. However, this episode, this is what I call embarrassing. So is it in Shelley, but this is embarrassing. And again, this is the scenario. Friends of yours that know, Mike or Raquel or Mark or whomever, you always never shut up about Star Trek. They're big Star Trek. And finally I said, why do you like Star Trek so much? And then I finally said, I'm flipping channels one day, and I know my buddy Raquel or my buddy Mike or whatever was such a Star Trek fan. I thought I'd check it out. What's all the fuss about? And they're going to land on Spock's brain, folks.
What a scenario. This is a terrible scenario. This is the worst possible scenario.
They're going to go, next time you see him, you bump into him, they're going to be a wise ass. You know that show you like, Star Trek? Yeah. It's not called Trek, but okay.
I hate it when people do that.
Oh, God. But yeah, they're going to do that. And, sometimes they're doing it to be a jerk off. Sometimes just they're morons. But anyway, they're going to say, well, I watched one the other day. And again, if they accidentally caught City on the Edge of Forever or Space Seed or the Doomsday Machine or a mock time, they probably go, even if they are not doing backflips, they're going, that was pretty interesting. And they would ask you questions. So what about this? And if they see that one, they're either not going to say anything if they're a polite person, or they're going to go, what is wrong with you? It said, is this that? And that show was, it was like it was written by 12-year-olds.
Mm-hmm.
This plot is garbage. The story's stupid. And just because it's funny should not excuse it, everyone. They explain nothing. First of all, as soon as you call the episode Spock's Brain, whoever turns that script in needs to be brained with the script. Yeah. Hit in the head with it, I mean.
Lee Cronin. Lee Cronin,
what's wrong with you? I mean, how do you sit there and go, I'm going to feeling Spock's Brain all of a sudden?
Maybe we should change his name to Lee Crony.
What is wrong? Oh, I bet he wrote for Lost in Space. I mean, I don't know. You write that thing and someone goes, yep, let's see. Yeah, we're filming this one, folks. Yeah, guys, let's film this. Somebody gave the go. Let that sink in, everyone. Somebody wrote it, and then somebody okayed it. Filmed it.
I don't know why.
And
well, no, isn't Lee Cronin? Isn't that the pen name of?
That's a pen name for somebody.
I think it's Gene L. Coon. I think that those were all the episodes he was too embarrassed to put his real name on. I would need to look that up, but I'm pretty sure
it might be. And if it is,
clicks here because I believe that Cronin is the nom de plume of of Gene L. Coon when he's feeling embarrassed about when he's pooped on paper.
But you know what? I know drugs were big back then, but good God. And he was in California, so I don't know. Yeah, this episode,
I'm right.
Holy shit, you're right. That's right. I forgot all about that. He said, well, Gene Coon, how could you?
Gene, why did you do this?
Well, we know why he changed his name every time. Now, again, here's the thing, though. I can see like having the nugget of an idea and someone screwed your script up and you get pissed off. There's no nugget here. This is somebody taking Spock's brain and they steal a brain out of a guy's head.
Yeah.
No. And then, by the way, after they steal it, the episode opens up. Everyone's still unconscious, but somehow Spock is on a bed in sickbay. Why? Everyone was. McCoy said I woke up and there he is. So why I guess these people brought him down to sickbay.
Who did that? And
Who did
his
that?
body
The
would have
woman?
died. And yeah, and
The one woman?
it's not only
Remember
that, he
she?
blinks, and like
Oh, oh God!
what's making his blood pump around
And
his
why is
body?
he?
It's his heart, but you have to have the
Right.
brain, right?
And the stupid stuff with him being able that thing, that little device, that remote that lets him walk around. And when
I
Kurt,
do love that when he's outside of the opening of the elevator shaft, that he walks directly into a bush, though. I think that
yeah,
is
he
just
does.
hysterical. It's just hysterical.
I mean, the scene where they're all, oh God, it's so stupid. When they're all being, she leaves that device on and they're all in pain, and Kirk is able to manipulate it, press buttons for Spock to go out and precisely grab the thing out of her hand and press the button, or grab the machine and press the button or whatever. Like, wow, that thing's really precise. Hell, you could just control people with that sucker, I guess.
Yeah.
What is this? It's just so bad. And again, it's just they never explain anything. What little they do, it's just bad.
Yeah.
It's everything about it is moronic. This episode is so fucking stupid.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, did I cuss? I'm sorry, too bad.
No, it's great. It's great. It's great. It's great.
So anyway, everyone, Raquel, I think, has some notes for us on Spock's brain damage.
Not much on this because it's very painful to watch. It's definitely not one of my worst episodes, but
No.
but it's right down there. So as you all know, I'm a huge Leonard Nimoy fan. Leonard Nimoy has said on several occasions that filming this entire episode was an embarrassment to him, that he felt embarrassed for himself and for everyone while they were filming it, because it was just so ridiculous. And and obviously he didn't say the following, but I'm just going to say the following. Here is this is an exemplification of the executives flexing their muscle to show that they did not want the show to be cerebral, and so we literally and figuratively remove the brain from Star Trek. And so the fact that they chose to do that, and just the other things that they were doing, making sure that Jimmy followed his instructions to comb his hair, and hey we're the monkeys, and just all the crap they did. They ruined everything, and I totally blame them for what happened with season 3. And I say it again here in my notes. Scotty's executive order and reorder to comb his hair back. Poor Scotty. And I say that every time they do this to Scotty, because to hell with them. The controller is Nomad. It's been recycled here again. And then I'm a little bit naughty by putting in parentheses, they gave Nomad balls, but it's actually just ball. We see this, then another comment I have, we see this idea again in TNG for Angel 1 in 1988. And of course, the wonderful Genesis 2 movie, and this whole idea of this matriarchy. However, I will say that when it comes to Angel 1 or Spock's brain, I do prefer the cosplay for the iMorg here.
The ladies are nice now.
Yeah, this is great cosplay. And I have the cosplay encyclopedia, which I just recently purchased, and they talk quite a bit about how all of it was inspired and, of course, made much cheaper to create through the go-go dancer craze and the go-go dancer apparel that was available at that time. Although that's not in my notes, I'm just going off, like I usually do. Sorry. And then, of course, I have written in all caps on my page in 0.7 lead, brain and brain. What is brain? And then what else? Yeah, I wanted to just say that, and I just added a note about 2 minutes ago that says the following: Brad Fisher, where are you this evening? And the reason why I'm saying that is Brad Fisher is a well-known person in the theater community here in Alberta. And he works for a great theater house. And how I came to know Brad is that I used to cosplay their Star Trek series. So they do a Star Trek series of improv, and they all wear costumes, and they have to improv a Star Trek tale, throughout this run that they do, and I forget how long the run is of this, but I enjoy it immensely. And how I met Brad is, of course, he's a part of the production team there. He's a part of the theater itself. And, he asked me one night, may I please take some pictures with you when I was dressed as an Andorian in the audience. And so I just wanted to say that after reading the Block Erdman coverage, that Brad Fisher, if you're listening, I would be happy to provide you with the information from the block text with regard to how they did Spock's brain. And I would be thrilled if the theater house you're currently working for would do this Star Trek comedy, Spock's Brain. And perhaps if we could get a hold of that script, or if you wanted to do an improv on it, I just wanted you to know that I would definitely appear and help promote it. And I would choose whichever character you would like me to appear in cosplay for that for the theater. So I would absolutely be thrilled if once we're free and clear with all jabs completed, that we could do something like that. Brad Fisher, that would be marvelous for Alberta.
There you go. Well, excellent, Brad Fisher. If you're out there, I know Brad has popped in before, I believe.
Yeah.
Final words on Spock's Brain is funny. Yeah, I mean, I'll grant you if you like this episode because it's funny, okay. And look, I love Star Trek so much that I can. If they got a bad one, I'm going to goof on it, but I still love Star Trek. Also, it's fine to laugh at something. Laugh at it. Just as you laugh at yourself, you should be able to laugh at something you love, like Star Trek. So that's fine.
Yeah.
I just, that's a great word. Embarrassing is one I wrote down earlier.
Yeah.
It's embarrassing. And they looked embarrassed when they should have been.
Yeah.
So the actors. But anyway, so I will now, my good friends, ask for my wonderful first officer, Raquel's rating on Spock's brain damage. Then I'll give you mine.
This is a Spock-centric episode. It had delightful women dressed deliciously. We had all the raw material to make something really wonderful here. And instead, we made a stinker. This really fills the diaper and overflows and leaks down the legs. I'm going to give it a D minus, and with prejudice. It's just absolutely terrible. And I would like to say to all of the executives in charge of inserting themselves into season 3, I just wanted to tell you very lovingly.
That and then some. There you go. I give Spock's lame brain damage, garbage, and crap. I give it an F. This is an FU to this episode. Piece of drivel. So yeah, H for horrendous. And now I'll ask my dear friends in the chat, please give us your ratings on Spock's brain damage. And don't be shy. If you want to give it an A+, it's fine with me.
And snarky comments are welcome, please.
Yeah, so go for it, friends. Let's rate our third episode of the evening. Let's see. Oh, man.
Oh, boy. Snortapoopus is so moved. He did a 2-parter. Snortapoopus has gone Esh Singh. What have we done? You know that it's a real crapper when Snortapoopus resorts to multiple postings.
Cardinal Sin, I will try, buddy. I know I'm on Ash. I'm on Ash and Jed stream tomorrow, buddy. But I'll try to get over there, man, after that's done. I'm starting out. Well, Chuck Marble, our new friend, as H for horrendous. Well, we'll allow. And Chuck says it's worse than G. Okay, let's see here. The great Ace Cast Iron.
G.
NCC 1701 F the world. Raquel has a lot of.
Skata.
Skata.
Yeah, tonight. That's SHIT.
F. Let's see. Feliciano, is that an F minus or just an F? I don't know. I just messing with you guys. The brain. This was mindless entertainment. Well, I'm with you on the mindless part, buddy. You got me there.
Literally and figuratively.
Oh boy. Yeah. No, good. Sweet. Nice. Well done.
Poor
see what's with them.
Snortapoopus.
Snortapoopus Cuber. F plus, I'm no medical expert, but I suspect removing a brain would lead to instant death. Apparently not for Vulcans, or half Vulcans even. Maybe Vulcans have secondary brains somewhere else, but in their brain. But I'm not going to speculate on that.
Oh, Snortapoopus.
On where? Sorry. Keeping the men as herd animals for snoo is an interesting idea. Snoo. Hence the plus rating. I got you.
Oh my God, my stomach hurts.
Could they have stolen an Ice Federate's computer to run their system? So I guess they should have.
He said snoo. Snortapoopus.
Oh,
a euphemism for.
I love it.
Oh my God, this is an ab workout. Snoo.
Elagabulus. I'm getting there, Elagabulus.
Oh,
Elagabulus. That's right. D. This episode starts the third season like a football team losing its first scheduled game at home. That happens a lot. It foreshadows the declining quality of the series. Not as bad as Plan 9 from Outer Space, but in some ways it is the Plan 9 from Outer Space of Star Trek, to be honest. Or at least Great Vegetable Rebellion. Let's see here. Sandra Feliciano, D.
Just wait. Just before we say this, before we reveal this, if you're listening at home on a podcast, this is actually a higher ed person. So Sandra has higher ed medical training. I believe she may have a master's in nursing. I'm not quite sure. I do know that she has higher ed. So this is beyond a undergraduate degree in the medical field. And so Sandra Feliciano, the great Sandra Feliciano, is going to comment on the lack of brain. And I am delighted to entertain this beautiful comment.
The brain is needed in order to perform basic functions. That explains a lot about me, actually, such as the heart beating. Oh, they're supposed to beat. That's right. And breathing. You're supposed to breathe too. Damn it. This is no way any muscular. There's no any muscular function could occur without the neural pathways from the brain. Details. It's
Love you, Sandra.
Don't cloud the issues with facts. Let's see. D- for the great Lord Thoth, close to an F. See the last review. Yes. Tied for the second worst episode of the classic series, and they're back to back. Imagine it. Lazarus! At least we have purple go-go boots.
Right.
Purple go-go boots. And purple Valkyrie, who's here earlier. She's probably asleep by now, but love you, purple. Let's see. What is brain? Apparently, the writer of this episode couldn't have been Gene Kuhn because he used to have one. At least we can laugh, kind of. Yeah, I mean, the laughter does kind of at least help with this one.
I like LT's comment too, though, because it raises my concern with the block coverage insofar as too much is oft made that we must place women on a pedestal where they must be absolutely brilliant in all cases. So I did like that LT brought that up because it helps us circle back on that paragraph in the block text that I objected to. It's not necessary for every single man on the planet to be a brainiac and for every single woman on the planet to be a brainiac. So while I love to dig at this episode, I don't dig at it because it's anti-feminist or some other thing like that where the block was taking it. So I love that you circled back on that, LT. Love you.
Indeedishness. I will give this one a DD.
Double D.
Says the great Eric K. A double D because... that is the only redeeming thing about is the ladies. Yes. I think the writers could not figure out what is brain. Boy, that is so true. Thank goodness McCoy put his brain back in. I mean, it was kind of funny. I messed up when I reconnected his mouth. A+ from James Andrew Morrison for sheer fun. LSD all around. E- for Trek lore. Yep. E- for Trek lore. I want an RC Spock. Yeah, who doesn't? Remote control Spock, I guess he means. This episode is a guilty pleasure of mine. I find it hilarious. Cardinal Sin, D-. It's the worst. Or maybe
It's
C.
your worst. Are you
It's
serious
the
right now?
worst
That is
episode
your throwdown, Gil?
ever. I don't blame you. Look,
I mean, I
Cardinal?
accept that answer,
Yeah.
but if that's your firm and final, I have a couple of contenders, but I like that you are just forthright and so assured that this is that this is your bottom. Love it,
Yeah,
Gil. Love
I
it.
mean, look, dude, I'm with you. It's right. I mean, I'm with you, except mine still and the children chef lead. JT Kirk F. The magically guessing the correct planet Spock was on. Perfect removal and reinstallation of Spock's brain.
Yes.
The perfect in the nick of time solution. Make this crap feel like an episode of STD.
Yeah.
Well, absolutely. Ash, did I miss your first one? Oh, there's Ash. No, wait a minute.
Thanks, executives
Ash,
at NBC. You did such a great job. Here's JT Kirk letting you know what he thinks of your executive insertion.
Ash, I can't find your first one. I see number 2, 3, and 4.
Well, I see a lot of number 2 as well.
I don't see 1.
Just kidding. I'm just
kidding. Yeah, okay. I'm sorry. But I don't see his 1. Unless he did it way. No, Ash, for some reason, your first comment of your 4 is not on here.
I don't see it either. Yeah, well, it's probably starting to happen on your side as well. My StreamYard's been doing this all night. It's driving me up the wall.
Really? Well, Ash, I can't find number 1, but I'm sorry, so I'm gonna have to go with your first one I can find, and number 2 that is appropriate. So you give me your rating if you would, because see if you can find number 1. It's not on my chat. I went all up and down.
It's not on mine either. It's not on mine either.
I got 2, 3, and 4 right here, buddy. So if you can give me 1, I'll start with your 2. The concept of a complete brain removal and the sciencey stuff of the nerves was cool, was it? But downloading info into the head seemed like future version of getting direct, unsolicited dick pics. Oh,
wow!
There you go. But the best bit of the episode, even though his lifeless body was walking around and is creepy, was where Spock had a blank look and was still when the talking, fighting, and chaos was going on.
Yes, he was quite still. I beg your pardon, Captain Clobby. Please excuse me, fine sir. At 56 minutes past the hour, we have LT trying to leave for the evening. He says, "Gotta run. Stay safe. Keep hydrated. Keep your brain in your pants to prevent Romulan MILF spurpies. Good night."
LT, Lord Thoth, yo, my brother. Great to see you, buddy. Avon lives and long live the Legion, my friend. Thank you for being here, buddy.
See you soon. Be safe at work, please, Lord Thoth, and tell your wife we said hello.
Number 4 for Ash is, yes, indeed, hello to the little woman there, bud. Also, I want a remote control Spock. Someone grow me a Spock and remove his brain for me, please. Thank you. Ash, if you can give me your rating, since I can't. I'm not lying, man. I can't find it, buddy. Or at least
Ash, at 57 minutes past the hour, he says, "I don't know why I've posted it 1 out of 4 twice now." Ash, I noticed that right at the start of the stream. I am missing different people who joined us this evening. Like, I'm missing whole chunks of the chat, and I didn't even get to see the whole intro video. So something's going on with StreamYards. It's not
crazy.
You, Ash.
Wow. Carrie Fisher. Rivals lost in space when it comes to the negative stereotypes about 60s sci-fi television. That's a big problem with me too. Exactly, buddy. And again, I love Lost in Space, but they're 2 different animals. Childish and embarrassing, would still watch it over the alternative factor or the empath. Well, we're getting to the empath soon.
Yeah.
F as in FU. I'm with you, bro.
Flash.
Flash.
You just named over the 45 years that I have loved Star Trek, continually the alternative factor has continually appeared at the bottom of the bucket.
It's so bad.
So I love that you mentioned it. You know what I mean?
Oh God, yeah.
That facial hair and that story just sucking hard.
And Nicole him Scuba Peach C+ only because of the lovely eye candy. Otherwise, this episode was Abby Normal. Good brain reference. I like it. Abby Normal, young Frankenstein reference from the great Scuba Pete, thank you. The Catman, aka Myers, I give it D minus. I think he means minus. I'm never clear about that. I guess I just don't know. Maybe they need a new symbol for that. I thought the story truly sucks. I'd rather drop off the roof. I guess it means I'd rather drop off the roof of my house instead of ever watching this one ever again. Very slow and boring episode. Oh my goodness.
Oh, we have proper Greek in the chat. Chris Persia, I love you.
We'll get to him.
Beautiful.
Oh, good. Canadian Spidey. D minus, not an F because it still had the cast members of the old Star Trek. Yeah. It is still better than any STD episode. Not that I've seen more than 3. Not enough phaser fire. I hear you, buddy. See here. Liger fan. I hope I'm saying that right. I have no master's degree in nursing. Oh, I give it. Or anything else. But there are people who lead seemingly normal lives, and I'm sure they don't have brains. Okay, I thought that was a rating. I'm sorry. I thought that was a rating.
I just met you, but I already really like you. You please come back next Saturday.
Who are you talking to?
The Liger guy.
Liger's cool. Liger's cool.
Awesome.
Liger, we appreciate you. It's always great to see a new friend pop in.
Oh, such good comments.
The great Mark D with a C. D, 1 out of 5 remote control Spocks. Where were the brains of the writers of this episode? I still can't believe it's Gene Kuhn must have been, I don't know. At least it gave us the classic line, brain, what is brain?
Yeah.
You are not Morg nor I Morg. One redeeming quality, costumes. Oh, look, the ladiness is just beyond dispute. It's,
yeah, wouldn't it be great? Wouldn't it be great if the episode were actually good? Because then imagine the cosplay out of this.
Indeed.
And never again.
Never again. Yeah, never again shall we discuss this. Or similar to Spock, I would require a double hemispherectomy to forget the lack of understanding basic anatomy.
Oh, can we just I wish we could just glue that to a wall.
Hemispherectomy.
Wow.
Wow. Holy shitey. I think we got
bravo, Agapimo, bravo.
Chuck, I as a big MST3 key and Riff Tracks fan, I'm with you. They should, if they could get it, they would Riff Tracks it, but they can't get it. Well, they can actually do a Riff Tracks of it. You can't do MST3K couldn't do it because the movie had to be public domain. But Riff Tracks, they do, licensed movies all the time because all they do is make a little track and you can put it, with any movie you want. They do all movies. So they should do Spock's Brain. Except they sold out. I used to love those guys. They've kind of, never mind. I'm mad at them because I love them, but I'm mad at them right now. I think we got all of our ratings from number 1.
So many good comments tonight.
I'm Pattis. I missed you. Sorry about that, man. Throw it back in there if I can't find you here, my brother. Man, it just goes by. I hope it didn't leave yours. I hope it didn't drop you. I didn't see it, Pat. Shit. Let's see.
It's weird. It's just acting really stupid tonight, and it's super annoying. I couldn't see Purple Valkyrie at all tonight, and others as well. Like Liger fan just popped in for me. Like I'm finally starting to see Liger fans' comments.
This thing is weird. Well, I saw Purple pop in when she gets. She's probably asleep by now, so late.
All I saw were purple hearts, but being posted by other people. Oh, I see Pat.
Well, there's Rod Thunderheart. C+. I still can't give a bad ST over. That's okay, Rod. You don't have to around here, buddy. We love you no matter what, man. Don't you ever worry about that, buddy. Let's see. That's a classic Beavis and Butthead. Number 1, I order you to take a number 2.
Right? So bad.
Pat, I'm looking.
So
dude.
I found him. He says C. insane in the Spock brain. Insane in the Spock brain. Insane in the brain. Yeah, got no brain. Going insane. First Trek episode, 9 years old for me. Even saw, if I love this episode, a man is a true fan. It has a good beat and is easy to dance to. Okay, so I think I totally blew that. It's at 2 minutes past the hour if you can find it.
Okay, I'm not there yet. Then let's see here.
I did find him though, and he definitely put one up, and it is a C.
Oh, there we go. I'll send one for one. Okay, that's cool.
Thanks, Ash. Sorry about that. StreamYards is acting weird tonight.
Yeah, it's being worse to you than me because I've seen most of them, but sometimes I just miss them. But yeah, I could. That one Ash did, but I never found it. Okay, Ash, I'll check it out in a sec here. Well, that's very true. Cardinal send it. Spock's brain is Shakespeare compared to STD and P. Hart. No question about it.
Filth.
Filth. Freaking filth. I'm trying to find. Did you say 2 minutes after? Let's see.
Mark D with the C reposted it, I believe.
Oh, there's Pat. There's Pat. Okay.
You got it? There it is.
C, insane in the Spock brain, in Spain in the Spock brain, insane in the brain and got no brain going
insane.
Insane. First Trek ep 9-year-old. 9-year-old me ever saw. If I can love this episode, a man is a true fan.
Yeah.
Yes. It has a good beat and easy to dance to. You can dance if you want to, and you can leave your friends behind.
And in that case, Pat S., you can leave me behind because I don't want to go. No, I'm kidding.
And if your friends don't dance, and if they don't dance, never mind.
No.
You can dance if you want to. You can do like the Al Yankovic version of that.
Hey!
Whoa. Oh, M's here. Elagabus, thank you. Elagabus, thank you for that. I haven't laughed this much in quite some time. Streams like this remind me that I don't miss cable and dish hall. Well, you know what? That is a great thing of you to say. Great thing to say that. Elagabus, I really appreciate you. And we are just happy to have you and all of you here, buddy. We thank you for that, man. We try to have I try to have a blast on all of my streams, but I really have some fun ones. They're never better than when it's Raquel hanging with Raquel because she's the best. She makes this thing happen.
I love you. And it's easy to have a good time when you're with your best friend, and Clobby is definitely one of my best friends, like in real life. Not like, you know, how people stroke and fluff one another on these streams. I actually mean it. I'm really hoping that once we're all jabbed up and everything, that we can actually bring him up here so I can take him to Vulcan. And I know Canadian Spider-Man wants to get in on that with me and Rod Thunderheart. We would love to get him to the town of Vulcan so he can see what it's like to be like in a Starfleet city, like a city that's all Star Trek. So, and was christened by Leonard Nimoy as a Star Trek city. So I can't wait to take him there. And I love him. I love the sound of his voice. I love all of his beautiful opinions. The guy has impeccable taste. He's just smart and great to be around. So, you know, thank you so much for the wonderful comment. I'm having a blast too. But this whole community and Clobby, you guys make it so easy to have so much fun. You guys are all so smart and funny.
You guys didn't know that Raquel was my mother, did you? She just likes to make me blush. That's all.
Oh, I'm sorry. I like to. I love you.
I love you. Oh, there you go. But yes, Gardle. I think we've gotten all of our ratings. If anyone forgot any, you can definitely throw one up there. But I tell you what, as always, this has been spectacular fun for me. If any of you had like just a tenth of the fun I had, then it's worth it to me. Because this is just so great. I love hanging with Raquel, and these basically look. And when it comes down to it, when I bitch about a Trek episode, and I guess granted, a lot of this is hindsight. I hate anything after 05 that has the name Star Trek on it. It's not Star Trek, in my opinion. It's not legit Trek.
No.
So
that's dead. That is dead.
Indeed. That does, it can't help but soften up even some of the crappier, things with Trek's name on, even the crappier episodes here and there, at least for me. It can't help but kind of soften, up my approach to some of the bad ones. But still, you still have to kind of get in your game and go, yeah, bad is bad, and yes, things change. So, Spock's brain, at least it's Trek. It's just a really wrong-headed Trek. It's not a good idea. But what are you going to do? But I'll take it over any of this new filth any day. None of it's Star Trek.
And you should be able to like Star Trek is beautiful. It's so beautiful that it's like a book. It's like a novel that you want to keep going back to and reading over and over and over again, because it's so beautifully written and it's so well thought out and it's so engaging and intelligent, and it elicits an arpeggio of responses in you. Sometimes you feel like you want to laugh. Sometimes you feel like you want to cry. You feel angry. You feel satisfied. You feel titillated. You're feeling all of those things, but that doesn't mean that it becomes a religion. And this is my problem with everything after 2005. It's not a corporate worship. You should be able to say to yourself, that chapter, that wasn't a very strong chapter, and it does not negate your love for the book. And so for me, it's fun to criticize these executives who inserted themselves into season 3 and made complete asses out of themselves, because we had a whole bunch of original and wonderful writers making something terrific. So if this can teach anything to the new generation of Star Trek fans, it is how catastrophic the corporate influence or the executive influence can be on a collection of authors and creators who just want to make something really beautiful and special. And we see that in season 1, and we see that in season 2. And then as soon as there is an insertion, we see a revolting consequence. So, think about that. It's okay to criticize the things that you love, and it's okay to love authors and creators and wonderful people who want to tell you stories. You are not beholden to sup the mush that is given to you as though they are the alms to the poor from the corporation. You are not beholden to the corporation. You owe it nothing. And certainly not in a way where you should genuflect regardless of quality. So, if that's the lesson you take away from Clobby and I laughing through the bad stuff, I'll be pleased.
By the way, Ash did send that number 1. Just to backtrack just a sec. His rating was the women A minus. I guess it means A. Hot AF, as the kids like to say. But also dumb and whiny AF. The men were dumb and funny, so C+. Ooga booga. What is woman? Everything else just a C. That's the beginning part that didn't make it for some reason. For the great Ash Singh, my good buddy. So thank you for that, Ash. That's what I just now found that, Ash. Sorry it took so long for it. Well, I tell you what, my
Eric
friend,
K's leaving?
Eric K. Oh, we're about to say our goodbyes anyway.
What's going on? Okay, well, don't leave until we get to say goodbye to you, because we love you and appreciate you. And if you're leaving, please make sure that you say that you're leaving. And I hope that I haven't gotten mixed up here. Eric helps us produce the show, as does Chris. So I don't think he's leaving. Maybe I'm quite confused, but I sort of hit the panic button there. Sorry about that, folks.
Well,
wait for us to say goodnight.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Again, thank you, everyone, so much. We'll be back, of course, next week with 4 more episodes from season 3. And let's see here. Show notes before we say our goodbyes. Monday night on Clobbering Times. Monday night, Mark C. Comics Talk. I will be, the episode will be called Recommended Reading. I would recommend some great comics. If you're looking for something good to read, or maybe reread if you have read it before. I don't know if you're a comics fan, and because modern comics are just crap. So I'm going to recommend some great comics, series, sagas, runs on certain titles, characters, what have you.
Very exciting.
I just love talking about that kind of stuff. Monday nights, no one even shows up anymore on Monday nights, but I got a few comics fans out there that might. So that's going to be what we're doing Monday night, my good friends. And so thank you so much. Wednesday night, Open Geek Talk. Not sure what I'm going to do yet, but Thursday, 1 p.m. Central. The Global Geek Gang assembles.
Oh,
We're
so
gonna
fun.
Legion of Superheroes
Yeah.
talk,
Yeah.
and I cannot wait for that.
So much fun.
Oh, it's gonna be so much, absolutely so much fun, my dear. And I tell you what, let's say some goodbyes to our lovely friends in the chat, because you know what? And if you're listening out there on a download from later and you didn't hear it, if you ever get a chance, just join us in our chat. Please do. They're the best. You know, if we were able to highlight everything they say, which is so fantastic, we'd be here for 7 hours.
Yes.
And you'd love every minute of it because it's so much fun. They do amazing stuff.
And just so you know, there are times when I draw silent, or sometimes I laugh at inopportune moments, and it probably seems funny to the people who are listening at home on the podcast, but it's because I go about the business of scrolling through and reading every single thing you say, because you know, you're my friends, you're a part of this community, and I think you're all so smart and funny. I don't know how we managed to attract the biggest nerds and geeks on the internet, but you're all brilliant and hysterical. The puns were unbelievable tonight, as were the cerebral comments, and just, you guys brought your A game as always, and I enjoyed your company immensely.
You're all the best, and I'm going to say goodbyes here now. Of course, the great Lord Thoth had to run, buddy. Love you, man. Hope you get to hang with us Thursday for the Global Geek Gang. The great Steve Mitchum was here earlier. Some people are gone, some not, but you get a shout anyway because you love you. We love you. The great Steve Mitchum was here. Fantastic old friend, Ace Cast Iron brother. I hope you're doing great, man. If you can make it for the Legion show, you're invited, man. You Flash, you and your Clone Saga, dude. I promise you, I will definitely beat up on the Clone Saga for you if you want, dude. You and that Clone Saga, man. I swear. Yeah, Ace Castor and love you, brother. The great Flash, Gary Fisher, buddy. Always great to see you here, my friend.
Yep.
Good to see you, buddy. Phantom Outsider.
Yep.
Good to see you, bud.
Yep.
Thank you for being here. The great
that name.
Felicianos.
Yes, the Felicianos. Wow. Just, you guys, thank you so much for coming tonight, and just for your participation. You know, Raymond is hysterical, and Sandra is just brilliant. And I love having another educated woman in the room who can speak to these issues that we experience as women when we engage in science fiction as the minority. So, wow, Sandra, Feliciano, just love you and appreciate you so much. Thank you.
Raymond and Sandra. And of course, Raymond has a new book out, everyone.
He does.
And please go. There's a link in the chat. Now, this is a link to his first book, but I think if I'm not mistaken, he can correct me if I'm wrong, you could also access it, both of them now through there. But he has a new, if not, he can correct it. He can direct you in the right spot there. I think he's modded, so he can.
Great.
And incidentally, while we continue with our goodbyes, we have another wonderful author. She's, of course, the beautiful lady who is with us tonight, and that is Raquel. And here is a link, of course, in the chat to her. Well, this is just to your science fiction works.
Yes, I write science fiction short stories. So if you're interested in them, they're all on sale this month for less than $1.
Indeed, indeed, indeed. Please go check those out, everyone. And let me get back to okay, there we go. Also, the great Mark D with a C, who I am in your debt, my friend. You've helped us so much. Great longtime friend of the show and has helped us out. Would not be able to have that fantastic new intro without you, buddy. Thank you so much. You're a good
Love
pal.
you. Thank you.
And let's Snorta Poopas Q Burr. Thank you.
Snorta Poopas.
Our great new friend JT Kirk. Thank you for being here.
So good to see you again. Thank you for coming again, and I hope that you will join us again next Saturday.
Indeed, indeed. James Andrew Morrison, thank you for being here.
Jam.
Oh, I think I mentioned, but just in case, the great Eric K, brother. You and Eric
K. Yeah.
and Chris Persia. Eric K, we appreciate you, buddy.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And Chris, you guys are
Persia. Yeah.
You guys are just thebomb.com. I love you both so much. You help us out here so much. Like, we couldn't do this without you. I can't even see who's wrenching on this side. So, you know, great work. Always, we rely on you, and not just to moderate comments or things like that, but also build a sense of community. And just tonight, you guys were hysterical and so bright and wonderful. And I thank you. Mwah, mwah.
All right, guys, you great wrenches. We appreciate you. The great Pat S, fellow Louisianian with me, buddy.
Yeah.
Always honored to have you here, my friend. You the man. And they call him Scuba Pete. Scuba Pete, thank you for being here, buddy.
Is it Sandra? Okay, it's Sandra. Rod Plunderheart, are you sure about that? She's never corrected me before. But I think it's Sandra Feliciano, not Sandra. So.
Okay. Sandra. Good. Well, there you go. Apollome's Minion was here earlier, and it is always lovely to see you, my dear, and Pupper, like you say.
And Pupper.
My good new friend, Liger fan, I want to thank you for being here tonight. We really appreciate the participation. Fantastic to have you here, sir. Ash Singh, great friend of the show, Global Geek Gang member extraordinaire, and of course, please go check out his site. Again, links in my description below to a lot of great friends. YouTube pages, and his is one of them. Ash has a page, and of course, Ash is also part of my buddy Jed's. He and Jed have my page, and with my good buddy Retro Ricky also, and that's Pop Culture Archivists.
Yeah.
The great Dr. Hercule Monkey.
Doctor, somebody call me a doctor. Yeah, love you, Dr. Hercule Monkey. Thank you so much for being here this evening.
Ilagabulus, I think, had to scoot, but we got really, it's a new friend, and it's been really great. So, Ilagabulus, if you're hearing us, either way, hail to you. Thank you for being here.
Yeah.
Our great buddy, the great Rod Thunderheart.
Yes.
We had a person pop in that I've never seen before, but I wrote it down anyway. Robert. Just the name Robert. Robert, if you're still here.
Oh, wow.
Thank you. The great Project Storytime popped in for a second. Not sure if Josh is still here, but he's a good pal. Rosh. Josh, eventually, dude, we're gonna do a show, man, about the All-Star Superman, I promise. Your Muslim uncle. Happy Ramadan, by the way. Popped in. Good friend of the show. Good to see you, man. I hope you're still out there. Hope you're doing well. The Catman, a.k.a. D.D. Myers. Thank you for being here, buddy. Appreciate it. Canadian Spider-Man does whatever a Canadian Spider can. Canadian Spidey, we appreciate you, sir. The beautiful, wonderful, magnificent Purple Valkyrie popped in earlier. I know it's late. Burp, I know it's late over there. Love you, if you're hearing me. And even if you're not, love you. Draco Argentus popped in. And I'm honored to have Draco. Thank you.
I'm not familiar with that human, but I will say this. That human is very intelligent and a heck of a lot of fun to be around, and great participation this evening. And I hope to see you again. Indeed,
Draco. Thank you, Draco. A new friend, but someone you know, but new to the show, Chuck Marble. Thank you. You know Chuck, I think, right?
I do. I think that's absolutely wonderful that you came by tonight, Chuck, and I'm reading through your comments while Clobby's talking, so I seem like a dingbat right now. Yeah, Chuck, I think it's great that you came to support this channel, and you are definitely going to love the positivity and the learned expertise of this person who owns this channel. I call him Clobby, Captain Clobby. He is a marvelous person, but just that positive and informed tone that that is reflected in the way that you post and the way that you talk on the internet and stuff. I just want you to know that you will feel quite welcome around here, and it's just so much fun to hang around with this person. So I can't wait for you to get to know Clobby better, and I thank you so much for joining us this evening, and I hope that you come next Saturday.
Nice to meet you, Chuck. Thank you for being here. Toxic Man Flu was here earlier. Had to scoot, but we always appreciate TMF. Mike Beat was here. I don't know if you're still here, but Mike Beat, thank you.
Yes, he also had good comments tonight.
Indeed. The great Just Joe 47, aka my old friend Jobber, was here. Jobber, I love you, bud. Good to see you, man. The great Cardinal Sin. Gil, always a pleasure, buddy.
And thank you for your comments tonight, Cardinal Sin.
Absolutely. Please go check out his channel. I think I got a link down there. If not, we'll get one. But please, he has a channel, growing channel, Cardinal Sin. He will be streaming tomorrow. As a matter of fact, live streaming tomorrow with all kind of a long and a great geek stream there. Pod Racing Palpatine popped in. Pod Racing Palpatine, we appreciate you.
Eric K says that he once saw me as an Andorian. Did you see me at a public event? Did you meet me? If you did, are there photographs of us?
No kidding.
That would be wicked. Please tell me that. Well, you don't have to tell me that on air because that would mean you revealing your location and stuff like that. So, yeah, to maintain your anonymity, don't answer here. But yeah, cool. If you've seen me actually in real life, you need to see me again so that I can hug you and put a big old smooch on your cheek for all of the hard work that you do and just for being a great friend. I love you, Eric K.
Oh, he said he just seen the photos, but yeah.
Oh, okay, just the photos. Okay.
Gotcha. There you go. Alex James was here earlier. I think he had to run, but Alex James is a good pal. Alex, so we appreciate you being here. And finally, as far as I think I got everyone, one more in with hero. The toughest name to pronounce on the YouTube. We appreciate you though. However, so look, last moment there, Jed, pop culture activist Jed. What are you doing, awake boy?
We were just plugging your channel, hon.
Yeah, Jed's here. Jed's on tomorrow. His 100th sub stream and is on tomorrow. Pop culture activist, that one. Put the time, by the way, or tell us the time that's going to be tomorrow. Jed, we'll be there.
Yes, please. I could use the time, the confirmed time. That would be great.
I'm fairly sure it's like for you, it's probably noon or something, but I want to be sure.
Noon's not too bad. Noon isn't too bad.
Fairly sure. So everyone, I tell you what, I had just broken record because I always do. Here we go. Oh, well, let's see here. Ash has got it for us. Ash, tomorrow. Pop Culture Archivist 100 sub celebration tomorrow. 11 a.m. Arizona time. That doesn't do. I'm not sure about that.
That's why I was confused earlier. I'm
not sure if they're mountain or what.
Is that mountain?
Yeah, we'll figure it out. 7 p.m. UK time, however, for the great Ash and Jed. Let's see, there's another one. Jed, I'm going to kick your ass, dude. Arizona time. Give us PST, CST.
Yeah.
Dude, what's wrong with you boys? That's coming. Don't make me come up there. They know I love them.
Oh, it's 11 Mountain?
Is okay, 11 is Mountain?
Yeah.
I mean, Arizona's Mountain. Okay. So good. So for my time, that will be noon. I'm so confused now. I don't know.
We'll get it worked out in private. Ash Singh says, Jed, this is why I don't say Arizona time. In yelling all caps.
Hey, don't be mean to Ash. Be mean to Jed, but don't be mean to Ash. Well, everyone, again, I'm going to play us out with this fantastic intro made by the greatest first officer of all time, the wonderful, beautiful, magnificent RAQUEL Briggs, who made this. And we had the format issue, and I wasn't able to play it before. Then we had some help from the great Mark D with the C, who made this possible. So kudos to both my great first officer and our good buddy with some tech support there, Mark D with the C. Everyone, have a great night. I can't get enough of this intro outro. So please enjoy this, and we will see you next week. Well, I'll see you Monday night, Wednesday night, and Thursday as well. But of course, back with Trek next Saturday night, 9 p.m. Central. Good night, everyone.